Hell yeah.
I tweaked my neck, and it was one of those, where you're fine right afterwards, but then you're just like, oh God, oh, hold on.
Yeah.
And you feel like a complete pussy for like, oh, I would have never stopped or even thought about stopping 10, 15 years ago.
Yep.
And then I get a little, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get some water, guys.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
So I've done that with like working out a few times where
Yeah.
you be squatting and something just goes ting. And you're like, before I'd be like, I'm fine. Just
Right.
give me rest. Now it's just like, maybe I should stop.
Yeah, that little ting did not feel good.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then the tings are now like lifelong injuries for me.
Yes, absolutely.
Being that old, like nothing goes away anymore. At least
Yeah.
it takes months, Before it'd be like, give me a couple days. I could tear a hamstring and be back in a couple days.
Dude.
Now it's like, oh yeah, my hamstring that I hurt 6 years ago,
Yeah.
like still gives me issues.
Yeah.
God, it sucks.
I got an ankle that some idiot I wrestled with at Oklahoma back in the day. Matt Cole. He was like 6'3", wrestling 174, 185. So just a tall dude.
Yeah.
And you know what an inside trip is?
Yeah.
So he goes for an inside trip on me, 5'10", maybe a half, maybe. And his leg is so long that
Yeah, I
it
was gonna say,
wraps
that's like quite a wrap.
all the way around to the front of my foot. If you can imagine this, goes inside and then his toe points on the instep of my foot. And then I go back and my toe stays planted. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And my ankle just goes.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, God. He's like, what's wrong? Because in college wrestling, there's no acceptance of pain or pausing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, nothing. And I limped for days, and I still feel that thing. Like if I go for a run or anything, it's that ankle flares up immediately.
Yeah. And I mean, it's probably like 3 years ago now. Like I kind of got my foot caught underneath of me when I like was taking a guy's back.
Oh, yeah.
And just crumpled all my toes. Luckily, it wasn't like backwards, but it was like I just rolled them over.
Right.
And that my big toe still like is not happy.
Dang.
And I don't know, like I'm just like, and then other people I know that've gotten like big toe injuries.
Big
like,
toe.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah.
For life. Like that's never getting better. I'm like,
It seems that way. It seems that way with like big toe injuries, which is wild. Like when you see some people's like, I don't have a bunion, thank God. But dude, when you see some bunions, you're just like,
you're
good
like,
luck walking.
Yeah, how do you walk like that?
When you're 80, you're done.
Yeah.
You get to die at 80 now. Now you know.
I think I probably broke like 4 of my toes at this point.
Really?
Yeah, not bad, or like dislocated to the point where like now they look different than they did.
Oh, yeah.
And they're never going back, Like,
Oh, yeah.
You try to like massage it and like, okay, straighten it for like a couple months. And you're like, all right, this is just how this toe is.
Yeah. I've only broken one toe, and it was my middle toe when I was a kid. My dad would give us like a workout with dumbbells and stuff. Like he's like, all right, you do 3 sets of flies, 3 sets, blah, blah, blah. And it was probably like a 20, 15-pound dumbbell. And I had sat up from the bench. And I had no shoes on. And I was like, ah. And I just slowly watched that dumbbell roll off and just squash my toe. And to this day, when I flex my toe, it goes like that. I'm just like, yeah, that's never gonna.
That's why I see some people like, and it's not too often anymore, but you see in the weight room people in socks, and you're like, I get it, because like I also would like to deadlift and squat sometimes, like even barefoot. But man, like even a 25-pound weight, is gonna smack or cut your foot open.
Yeah, so. and I know I would cry at this point in life if a dumbbell dropped on my toe, I'd just start crying, because it's like I've been thinking about this happening for a long time. Been in the gym for a long time.
Crying out of like disappointment,
yes,
depression.
Absolutely.
Not like from the pain.
No.
But you're just like,
oh, it finally happened. God damn it. Oh.
Then you realize like this is my own fault. I brought this on.
Yeah. We had a few guys at Equinox when I was training there that loved, working out in their socks. Almost like I'm enlightened enough to know that working out barefoot is somehow, more beneficial, And so when you'd go up to them and you'd be like, hey, look, we don't allow, take your shoes off. And they'd just be like, Almost like peasant.
Yeah.
Get out of me. You don't understand. And you're like, okay, all right. I hope you drop something.
Yeah.
That's going to be
I
interesting.
mean, I do it at 8711 sometimes, just like after jiu-jitsu.
That's
I'll hit a
different, though.
workout. And then most of all our weights are like the CrossFit rubber weights. So I
For
feel
sure.
a little bit safer with them.
Yeah.
But it's still like, you know, like how many times have I just stubbed a toe on the edge of equipment?
Yeah.
And then being like, I just put my fucking shoes on.
I know.
And I got like some pretty good barefoot shoes. Like,
Oh, yeah?
There's not much difference, you know.
That's true.
It's like
Which ones you got, though?
I mean, I got some the Vibrams.
Yeah. So that's like nothing.
Yeah.
Just the toes.
And then like these Merrill, I think Merrill makes like a trail glove or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I've got a pair of Vivo barefoot.
Nice.
I mean, I got
The trail, the Vivo.
zero era zero shoes.
I got them all right now. Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
The Prio.
The Prio. I got like 3 or 4 pairs of zeros and the boots. I got some of their boots.
Nice.
Like, but
I was thinking
I'm
about
always
those shoes.
transitioning back and forth because I'm not that guy who can like go hiking in like barefoot shoes.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'm just too old or my feet are weak. But like if I'm gonna go like some serious, like we're gonna be on rocks and sticks and shit, like all right, I'm gonna put on some decent boots.
Yeah. You got to at least go ultra.
But if you're like walking around the city, like cool.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna just rock the zero drop
For sure.
low, whatever. But
Which shoe did you take on a hike? Like a Zero or a Vivo? Did you try?
yeah, I think it was the zero shoes.
Okay.
Which did pretty
Which
well. I actually have what was their old? They have like the big ass treads on them.
It's not the Scrambler.
No, damn, yeah.
Zero.
I think it's probably called their trail something. But those
It's not the. Yeah, okay.
those were actually pretty good. Those did a pretty good job.
Okay.
Especially if you're mostly on just like a trail, like a little bit of rocks or whatever.
Yeah.
But I still found like if you get in some heavy shit, like, or just because there's no ankle protection as well.
Right.
So like you banging your ankles on rocks or sticks or whatever, you know, I'm not worried about twisting an ankle, but it's still like.
One of these? The Ridgeway?
Maybe it was the old.
That's the Scrambler Mid.
I had the Scrambler Mid.
I almost got one of those. You like that?
I do like them.
Okay. And that's got a little ankle protection.
It's got a little bit of ankle protection. Shit.
Let's
the
see.
Mesa. Maybe it's the Mesa Trails.
The Mesa Trails, yeah.
But like an older version of that. Like they don't have the color that.
Yeah, those are like, yeah, you can definitely hike in those.
Those were pretty. I was pretty impressed with those.
So did you like these more than the Scrambler?
I don't know if I've ever done any serious hikes in the Scrambler.
Because
but
here's
I
the
imagine they're
thing.
pretty similar.
Here's the thing. They've got a Scrambler Low, which is built the same way as the Scrambler Mid. It's just not got that ankle protection.
Let me see the treads on that Scrambler though. They have a picture of the treads. I'm trying to, because like the ones I have some pretty aggressive treads on them.
What the hell's going on with this website?
Yeah. It's not happy.
No, it's not. Okay, here we go. Boom, boom.
Come on, try it. Man, you're gonna have to upgrade your Wi-Fi, dude.
What the hell's going on?
It's like
I think it's the website. It's got to be the website.
probably is. But I actually met. Well, here's the thing. Like at that paleo conference I used to go to.
Yeah.
In Austin.
Right.
The guy who like invented him. You've seen him in the.
Oh, yeah,
the
he's a
videos,
wild-looking
the
dude.
Long hair, the glasses.
Yeah.
That guy is awesome. I met him. He was like one of the first years we had it. Like he had his shoes there.
Okay.
And I didn't buy him at the time.
Yeah.
But then I started looking at him and I ended up buying a pair. And then I think the next year he came back and he like, as like a gift, donated a free pair of their shoes to all the like heads of department workers for Paleo Effects. So I got like one free pair of their shoes. Which
Oh,
was
nice.
freaking awesome.
Was that the Prio?
I don't know which one I got at the time, but then I started just collecting them. Then I'm like on the website and just and then I wait for kind of the end of the year sale, and then I'm like, all right, get them another pair of them.
Wow. Yeah, I was waiting for that too, and they sold out so quickly
They do
that
I feel like they're still a relatively small company, you know.
Yeah.
Compared to like a Merrill or a Vivo Barefoot.
That's true.
But they seem to come out with like, I mean, a lot of shoes like regular. Like every season they got new styles dropping. Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's kind of what the bottom looks like.
And how did that?
But they're a completely different color now, so I'm having a hard time deciding like if those are the ones I had. But a version of that, pretty close to that. Those actually worked great for hiking.
Okay,
As
cool.
long as you're like,
So that's what I was thinking.
I mean, again, if you're going up like steep, sharp rocks and stuff
Yeah.
like that, I would still want some ankle protection and
Right.
maybe even a little bit stiffer sole. So
Okay.
when you like, you end up with your foot wedged in a crack or something.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
For anything that's not super technical or hard. Like,
Yeah. Have you tried any ultra hiking shoes?
I have not.
Yeah.
They're the ones with a huge tread on them, aren't they?
They do have a huge tread. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got two of them. I got the Lone Peak. They just came out with the Lone Peak, which is I love that one.
Yeah.
And then they've got the Olympus, which has got that rock plate that's like,
Okay.
I mean, your foot, your toe barely flexes.
Yeah. All right.
So it can be good or bad.
I think I've looked at those a few times.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. I started reading reviews. I got to quit reading reviews.
So,
Because the only people that review them are the people that are fucking pissed about it.
Yeah,
And then
for
you
sure.
read like 10 bad reviews. You're like, man, these shoes suck. But then you're like, if you go through the 100 reviews, there was only like a few bad ones. So
yeah. Well, there's something to be said about those bad reviews about Ultra because apparently, as of like a year or two ago, somebody bought them. So it's like a bigger company bought them, and the quality of the shoes became less good than what it used to be, and that's what all the bad reviews were about. Because I went through all of them because I had a Lone Peak back in 2019 that I loved. And I was like, this is the best shoe I've ever, blah, blah. And then I got the Olympus like that same year or something like that. And then I didn't buy another one. And then somewhere between the last 4 years, they were bought out and the quality apparently went down. But this new Lone Peak, the quality
They're back up.
seems to be back up. So
Cool.
who knows?
It's good to know. Not like I need another pair of shoes, but
Yeah.
I probably will try it.
You should. I'll tell her.
I've been on a weird boot. Like I went down
Okay.
the
you said Zero boot too.
Yeah, they have pretty cool boots too.
Let's see
But
here.
now I've kind of like my normal everyday wear is usually like a more barefoot style shoe.
Right.
But then, like I rolled into the cowboy boots tonight. Those are
Yeah.
Barrett Tacobas. I love that brand. And then I finally bought myself like one of those awesome pair of like Heritage Red Wings.
Oh, Red Wings,
That, like,
dude.
they look awesome.
They look so good.
Most uncomfortable shoe I've ever put on my foot.
Not bad, huh?
And then I probably had to, and then I asked the girl there, because I put them on. I'm walking around the store like, no fucking way. Like, this is horrible. And then I was like, how long does it take to break these in? And she's like,
7 years.
well, it's like about 100 wears. I'm like, so I got to wear these 100 times.
How long does it last? 150 wears? Like, what the heck? What's going on?
And then I'm like, and I would wear these like, I don't know, once every couple weeks when I go to dinner or something. Like,
Right.
So I'm like, this will take me the rest of my life to break in these boots.
Yeah.
But I did end up actually accidentally walking about 5 miles in them one day. And it was horrible, but
Yeah.
it did break them in.
Did you have to tape up your foot like kinesiology tape?
I should, if I'd have known. I had to take my truck into the shop, and our production office is like 1.5 miles from the shop.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I dropped off. I was like, I'll just walk to the shop, or walk to the office.
Yeah.
And I start walking and go, oh no, I'm in these boots.
And I can't stop
And
walking.
I gotta go now. And then I was like, now I'm just gonna suffer through it. And then I walked back to the shop to get my truck. But then like the next day they were better.
Okay.
So like I think I squeezed in like 30, 40
Yeah.
wears.
Yeah. Good 5 mile walk.
In that time.
Yeah.
But I was like, God, 100. And then because you see that like
horrible.
people online are like these fans and like collecting them and
Yeah.
aging them, and it's like this whole culture.
Yeah.
And I went down this rabbit hole, and I'm like, I want a pair that look like that, but they don't look like that the day you get them. They look that like 10 years after you get them.
Yeah.
So now I'm going through a Red Wing break-in period, and
I never went down the Jordan, collecting Jordans or wearing Jordans. I got one Air Force One in college, or no, in high school. And I was like, damn, this is a stiff ass shoe.
yeah,
But I never went down the Jordan route.
I was never like a sneakerhead.
Yeah.
Like I never really wore like, I mean, to like work out in or
Right.
play sports in,
That's all. Yeah.
but.
That's everything I was getting to. What was the boot you got here? The Denver? Or the Chelsea?
I have a pair of the Denvers. I actually have the Daylight Hikers too. Man, I have a lot of Zero shoes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Zeros, give me a sponsorship. I've always actually wanted their winter. See down there on the Alpine, they're
Yeah.
like an insulated, I believe, waterproof boot. So I was like, man, next time if I ever do a job where it's cold, I want to buy those.
Yeah.
But
That looks
you
sick,
don't really
man.
need those for anything in California.
Sadly.
we go to Big Bear sometimes in the winter, but I'm
Dude, it's this
got it.
website.
yeah.
Damn. Come on, Zero. Great shoes, horrible website.
Yeah. God, I think I have the excursions too.
Do you?
Oh man, dude.
So,
This makes-
but have you hiked with them?
Never
This
anything
is
like
just-
that's a thing.
So you get these hiking shoes just to wear in the
think,
city.
I think I wore the excursions camping one
Okay,
time,
all right.
which there was a decent hike on that, so I think I would have worn them for that.
Yeah.
But again, it wasn't like a crazy I mean, it's like a trail that it was like we go to this Boy Scout camp, Camp Whitsett up in Kern County.
Okay.
And there's like a pretty cool hike that goes all the way to the top of this mountain. You get up there and you're like on the top of this rock formation. It's really cool.
Nice.
But we go there is it Labor Day or Memorial Day? Which one's in like September? Which
I got the same problem. I don't know, dude.
I want to say that's Labor Day.
Let's see here.
We go there every year to go camping. We didn't go last year because
The one after September?
yeah,
Labor Day.
Labor Day.
It's in November.
All right. Labor Day's in November.
Yeah, what's the other one?
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
That's got to be in September, right? Labor Day. Are you sure
What
Labor Day's in
day? Good God. We're Americans for real.
May.
May.
It must be Labor Day then.
All right.
All right, so we go. But anyways, there's always a long weekend somewhere there.
Yeah.
Somewhere in like September.
Okay.
Somewhere. Maybe it's a
Yeah.
different holiday.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. I did a test. I did the test to become an American citizen. Somebody else, I was scrolling on X, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you think these immigrants shouldn't be here? Blah blah. Well, take this." Dude, I failed that test. I was like, God, it was always but it could be this one.
Yeah.
But I'll go with this one. I was wrong. It was like maybe 11, 15 questions. And I was like, I couldn't talk to anybody for a few hours. You know what I mean?
Shit, am I even American?
Yeah.
ICE just kicked your door down.
Right,
As soon as you press send, they're just bash.
Exactly.
Like,
Dude.
who are you?
Dude, there's been some funny videos of people acting like ICE is coming to get them.
Oh, God.
Oh my God, it's been hilarious. This one guy's like, who is it knocking on my door? And they're like, yeah, it's ICE. He's like, oh, I'm an American citizen. And they're like, say Walmart. He's like, no. They're just like, say Walmart. He's like, Walmart. And they just bust the door down. Yeah. It's good. That's funny, man. There's some funny shit going on X right now. I love
the
it.
internet is just like it's a I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like everything.
It's
like
crazy to
good,
think it
it's
wasn't
bad,
like
it's
this.
funny, it's not funny, it's crazy, it's like
Yeah.
out of control, like inappropriate.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know.
Dude, I watched this.
But then that's just like you have access to all of society in one place, and then all of the, I don't know, I don't want to call it the cream of the crop, but like the funniest shit, and then the most racist stuff, and then like the worst like tragedies ever, like they all rise to the top.
Absolutely.
So you never see like just normal stuff. Like there's a normal guy going about his day.
Not at all.
It's like, I mean, I guess that's not interesting anyways. Like you see, and then you just, I don't know.
Dude, there was this, I've got some memes I collect. This one's great.
Gotta have them ribs. And pussy.
Hold on.
Gotta have them ribs. And pussy too.
I did not call Senator Sanders an ignorant slut.
It's an attempt to make TikTok better. Tic-tac-toe, a winner.
Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Have you heard the "I'm Gonna Come" song that the guy cut together?
It's so good.
Of a plan. America is a nation that can be defined.
This was
in
a rough one.
single word.
Jeez.
I was the foot him.
But I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Real Donald Trump. At least I will go down as a president.
I've become friends with school shooters.
Basically, I'm here to announce that we're building Iron Man.
Radical left. Will you shut up, man?
You shut.
That debate was awesome.
It was.
Avocado toast eating.
I just have one thing to say. There you go.
Wakanda forever. Paid for by Kamala Harris.
Now, here's the thing. If you were to tell somebody in about 10 years, like if you have a kid, right, and they grow up and they're 10, 12, and they're like, can you tell me what it was like? And you just show them this picture. They're like, or that video. They're like, that's AI. There's no way that they said those wild, outlandish things and that's real. You know what I mean? That's a real strange compilation of things that politicians have said.
You gotta love the internet.
I love it.
And I've been like watching all the confirmation hearing stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. In Congress.
And then just any of the congressional shit, like the things they say, and you're like, oh my Lord, like these are the people that run our country.
Yeah. The onesie thing that Bernie Sanders was
Yeah.
going on. Are you selling this onesie on your website that says
He was so
no
mad.
vaccine, no problem?
And like,
Do you stand by that?
and this is what we're debating about.
Uh-huh.
Like, can you ask him a fucking question about
Yeah.
actual vaccines or actual health issues? Like, you
Right.
want him to take down a onesie of
onesie.
a website that he doesn't even like have a stake in.
He's coming for his merch, man.
Like,
You got to make good merch these
it's
days.
rough.
People come after you for it.
And I'm like, I mean, it's a nice onesie.
I thought it was pretty cool.
I would like
It's
it.
empowering. You
Yeah.
know, no vaccine, no problem.
I mean, pro-choice.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm in.
Right. Yeah, I'm in. I
figure it out.
support you,
You
dude.
figure it out.
Yeah. I almost bought the Scrambler mid, but I was like, I gotta wait for the low. But from all the options,
Damn, you're quick on those transitions. You're like,
I'm still, dude.
I
You
was
don't,
like, oh, we're right back to zero. Okay.
dude.
All right.
I have been on this website so much trying to determine which one I want to get once they come back in stock, because apparently everything in a 10.5 is out of stock.
Well, and sometimes they don't even have the same style again. I have the Ridgeways too. Damn it, dude! How many pairs of those fucking shoes do I have?
Wow. But see
tell
that
Michelle, she'll
that
make
is
fun of me.
that does look nice. That reminds me of the Gobi, the Vivo Gobi.
Yeah.
That's nice.
You know what? I don't know. Maybe I just have like, I haven't found a Chelsea boot that I like because they're always kind of like a little loose on my heel and ankle. Maybe I got like a skinny heel or something. I don't know. Maybe I need
Interesting.
fatten up my heels.
Yeah.
But
How do you do that?
I don't know.
Injections.
But like they're never like they're always like loose on my heel.
Okay.
I don't know.
Every Chelsea boot
Like,
you
I've
get,
never found a Chelsea boot. Actually, I just bought a pair of Lucchese's.
but your calves are fine.
They're a little small.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's
Got long legs.
I got kind of skinny ankles.
Comes with
I
it.
like small joints
Really?
in a weird way.
Small
Yeah,
joints,
like,
huh?
my wrists aren't that big. My ankles aren't that big.
Yeah.
Knees aren't that big.
What's not big? What was that last part?
Knees.
You said it's not that big.
Well,
It's all right, dude. You know what? It comes out sometimes. You know, insecurities. It's all right. It happens.
You know, I'm okay with it. It's body positivity movement.
That's good. You got a great
you
woman.
shaming me?
She's okay with
Yeah,
it.
she's cool
that's
with it.
that's all that matters,
That's all that
dude.
matters.
So, as far as Terran Tactical, because I've thought about driving up there, but then I was like, oh shit, this is too commercialized and whatnot.
Well, I mean, you kind of gotta. I mean, you definitely would have to like make an appointment. It's not
Okay.
somewhere you.
So
at
I'll
least
definitely
the-
not go.
Yeah, at least the range is not somewhere you can just roll up one day. But
Yeah.
I want to shoot there. It's a totally private range, so you
Got
kind of
it.
either got to know him or contact him.
Yeah.
I'm not actually sure about their.
I could be a Terran girl.
You could. I mean, you're cute.
Maybe I could pull it off
mean-
just for some free time on the range.
Yeah, that might work.
Hand out some water bottles.
Yeah, it's nice. Are you good at reloading magazines?
I'd have to practice. Anyways, that dream's crushed.
Work on it.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Don't,
Thank you.
Don't give up.
Don't.
Jeez,
Thanks,
man.
man. I'm sorry.
Just, God.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. Can't reload.
Yeah. Any other dreams I can crush for you?
You know, it'll come up. We got some time. It'll come up.
Cool.
That spot, I gotta pull that up. What's that spot? Los Angeles shooting range. Yeah, Los Angeles.
No,
Angeles shooting.
Yeah. Yes.
That's the
Angeles
one.
Shooting Range. The gun club actually.
Boom.
If you got a bunch of money you want to spend, the gun clubs are really nice. They just open it. It's like a brand new private range.
Indoor.
I think you probably got to pay like at least like $5,000, like the minimum membership.
And this was down in not El Segundo, is it?
Oh man, you can't even click on it. Government
My VPN's off.
threat detected.
Let's see. But that is the spot, right?
Yeah, it's right downtown. Michelle was actually there. They did like some promo video stuff, and she helped them with that.
Oh, nice.
But it's super nice. Like I think they have a cigar lounge on the roof, like type of thing.
Oh, wow.
There's like a little private lounge. They got snacks, drinks, and everything.
Yeah.
Leather couches, like super swanky, but pretty pricey. I mean, I can't afford to go there, but
Yeah. That swanky, huh?
but yeah, Angela Shooting Range. That's where I actually think I took my first gun class with Uncle Scotty from is it ITT Tactical? I think. Was like handgun 1 I took.
Okay.
When we first got our guns.
Right.
Chad just kind of made us all like, dude, all right, you're all going to go fucking take handgun
For
class.
sure.
Like,
Yeah.
nobody's having a gun around me ever unless you take a damn class. And that was a pretty cool class.
And you said you went to this spot, Los Angeles?
Yeah, I mean, there's like these private ranges in the back that like they do the classes at. But
Right.
there's like an open part of the range, and then you can rent like other ranges out too. Like, say you want to rent out a little section.
Yeah.
But then they have like a public part of the range too, so you can just go there and shoot.
Right.
And they have targets set up, and there's like a rifle range.
Nice.
But then there's other ranges you could like rent out for the day, and then there's like the other private ranges where they teach the classes depending on what's going on. They have a really cool one up there. I saw they're running like some advanced weapon something where the guys, I mean, full kit, like building, like going into a building, like kicking down doors, like live fire type of stuff. And I was like, that looked pretty cool.
This is the city to know how to do that.
Yeah, right.
The way things are going,
Yeah,
you need a guy like that in your crew.
yeah.
What's the other spot? I went to the first spot that we went to was up in the hills. Let's go gun range.
I mean,
Way
like-
over here. Search this area here. Boom. Burrow Canyon.
Burrow Canyon.
Have you been up there?
I mean, I don't
So it's-
think so.
So it's right above,
That's a hike.
yeah, Pasadena.
Probably not much farther though than like say Stahelski is for me.
But it's it's in the middle of nowhere up there. It looks nice. I mean, it was
I
fun.
wonder. I mean, I went to a couple different shooting competitions with Michelle like quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what all ranges we went to.
Okay.
There were some different ones we went to.
Nice.
3 or 4 different ones.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Azusa, I guess. Guess that's what that mountain range area is.
I don't know. You have to ask Michelle. She remembers that shit. She knows much more about guns than I do.
What kind of guns do you get? Like, what pistols do you have?
I have the first one I bought was just a standard Glock 17.
Okay.
That's kind of like my home defense gun.
Yeah.
Which I've just kind of left alone. Sits in a box by my bed type of thing.
Right.
A locked box for anybody.
Yeah.
For the man who's watching. It's locked. I'm not a felon. I think they just passed some new law where like now like if you can't leave your gun like on the table unattended in your own home.
That's crazy.
Or it's like you go to jail. I don't know how the cops will find that out, but
Your neighbors.
yeah.
After COVID out
like
here,
you can carry
your neighbors.
because when you're in your house, you can carry a gun on you. But
Yeah.
if you take that gun off and set it down, like now you're going to jail.
You gotta they'll turn yourself in, right?
Yeah.
That's what you gotta do.
You're like, oh no, I left my gun on the coffee table.
You're not a good
It's
citizen.
either got to be on you or in a safe.
Yeah.
Anywhere in
Wow.
between is like going to jail. Wow. But anyways, so I have a Glock 17. I have a one of Terran's Glock 34 Combat Masters.
Oh, okay.
It's like a Glock 34 that he's totally like kitted out, like modified the slide, trigger, grip, everything. It's a pretty badass gun. That he gifted to me. Well, actually, not really, but
This right here?
did give me quite a discount on the whole thing. Yeah, without the sight on it.
Okay.
But
That is
because
pretty
you can,
nice.
yeah, for like $2,600. I actually had a Glock 34, so I gave him that Glock to modify.
Mm-hmm.
So he did all the same modifications for basically like a very small fraction of the price. So
Yeah.
hooked me up majorly.
And you said he's got a spot up there. Is it on the range where he does modifications?
I'm actually not sure of his current setup because they used to.
Yeah.
Like right behind the range was like a little office building where they were doing a lot of gun mods and parts.
Gotcha.
And stuff. I think at that time they were sending out the slides to get milled because they don't have like a machine that mills the stuff
Right,
there. Like,
yeah.
Because they do all those cuts in the slide and all that stuff. But they do have like a big building now, like a big warehouse where they stock and house all this stuff, and they might do all the mods themselves there. I actually don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask Taryn that tonight when I see him.
Nice.
It's a birthday party tonight, so
Nice. Dude, this looks cool. Look at what is
it's my favorite gun by far.
Oh, that's not a different material, is it? That's just
No, they call it stippling, but basically the Glock grip is kind of crappy. Like there's not a lot of grip on it.
Yeah.
So it's basically somebody, I mean, shit you not, sitting there with a little hot pen and like dot.
Dang, I didn't know that was the process. That's crazy.
For like ever. But you can put really cool patterns in it that way too. And maybe they might, I mean, again, I have my other Glock stippled. I think that was the only thing I really did.
Stippled.
Stippled.
Cool.
And I sent that out to a guy who did it for like $100. He did, and that's how he did it. They might have more advanced because that actually has like they call it like a diamond texture in it, and it has a little almost like it does look like there's little tiny diamonds in it.
I was getting ready to say, is
I
that
don't think
paint?
it's actual diamonds.
Can't be paint. Like diamonds,
I don't know,
or like a stone.
Yeah, or maybe it's something they like melt into the plastic.
Interesting. Yeah, because it is plastic, right? Yeah.
I should probably know. But it's an awesome grip. Like you can't drop that gun. Wet or dry, it doesn't matter. Trigger on it is phenomenal. They spring it pretty well so that like it fires. It's so smooth. Like I don't know.
Dang.
I haven't found another gun that I like any better. Like everybody's like a staccato and this and that.
Right.
And Michelle has a CZ that she loves to death.
CZ?
Sport Tactical Orange.
Oh.
Very specific.
Wow, not heard of
She
that.
would tell you that. That's a hard gun to find anymore. C.
I'm not dyslexic.
CZ. Type in CZ Sport Tactical Orange. Give us a picture.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That looks nice.
Hers is silver, I think.
Okay.
Or like a gunmetal. But
yeah.
But it's a full. That one's like a full metal gun. Like the slide in and lower all metal. The Glock's like a Palmer.
Okay, yeah.
Also the lower's like plastic basically.
Yeah. So like, how much heavier is this one?
It's significantly heavier. Like
Yeah.
you feel it in your hand.
Right.
But also that makes the recoil way less.
Right.
So that she's tricked out her competition gun where she has actually.
And this is her competition gun?
Yeah.
Dang.
But she's also put a sight on it, and the sight is really cool. It actually mounts on the lower part of the gun.
Okay.
And kind of like just like sits on top, so that when the gun cycles, the sight doesn't move. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? So like when the slide racks back, because the sight is attached to the lower part of the gun.
Okay.
It just has like a bracket that comes up and it sits on.
Oh, got it.
So when you're shooting, the slide can, and you don't have to take, like it doesn't get out of your eye line at all.
Dang.
So it does kind of make shooting it, you're like, you can just hold that thing on the target. Like it's going to move a little from the recoil.
Yeah.
But normally like the whole optic, everything on top of that slide's going to move normally.
Right.
But the way she has her set up, it doesn't.
So what type of sight is that called?
You'd have to ask her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
She's modified it. And
Is that a dot?
yeah.
Okay.
She has a dot on there. She did a trigger on it.
Is it Holosun?
I don't even know. She's got the full, because if you ever go to a shooting competition, you'll see these guys with like the fucking, I call them like the race guns, where it's like they got the Formula One version of a gun. It's like, it looks like something out of a space movie.
Yeah.
They got this crazy ass holster that like barely even keeps the gun on their hip, you know? Like,
Yeah.
But they can draw it so fast because there's
Right.
not much to it.
Yeah.
And then you look at the gun, you're like, what is, you know, like, you remember the competition archers? Like you see those bows that just have all this crap, all like it's like that version, but a gun.
Dang.
And then, you know, I roll in with my pretty stock Glock.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to shoot this gun. But that like, you know.
Most of those guys can shoot though, right?
They're,
okay.
Yeah. And they're
not guys showing up with like just money to blow and show off their guns.
There's some of that.
Some of that?
There's some
Okay.
of that. You know, it's like the guy you see that's like pulls up in his Ferrari and hits the curb and you're like,
that's true.
Yeah. There's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Because there's no like barrier for entry into these shooting competitions. You don't have to qualify. You know? So, I mean, when you start more heavily competing, there will be, I'm sure.
Right.
But like if you go to like most of the ranges around here, you can just enter a competition.
Oh, okay.
And whatever gun, you can run whatever gun you have. Like you could bring a 38 revolver if you want to.
Shit.
Your times are going to be terrible.
Right.
But they'll allow you to shoot that gun.
Yeah. Dude, I saw that video of this dude just like shooting off like 5 shots from the hip.
Yeah. Taryn will do that.
And I'm just like,
Taryn
but with like a one of those. What is wrong with this guy?
There's a guy
huge
too where
beer belly. Just
was he shooting balloons?
I don't know.
There's a videos of that like he literally there's like 2 balloons like I don't know 2 feet in front of him.
Yeah.
And you see him go and holster it, and both the balloons pop. You didn't even see like it's so fast.
That might be the dude.
It's crazy to watch, and you're like,
he's got a little bit of a belly.
Yeah,
on
he's,
it.
he's a thicker
is that
dude.
guy?
Yeah,
is that guy?
It's impressive.
Yeah,
it's pretty freaking impressive.
I mean, you
I
just
don't
get that guy in the gym. It would make sense, you know.
You turn him into a pretty lethal dude,
right? Yeah.
But like Taryn will do that. Taryn will like they have like a plate rack.
Okay.
And he'll from I don't know 20 yards out like pull from the hip and just ping 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 and like holster it, and you're like, I can't do it half that fast when I've got it in front of my face.
Does he have a big hand?
fairly big. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I could be wrong because I don't do much shooting, but I feel like the size of your hand is like such an important factor.
It definitely helps, and because I know too, like women usually typically have smaller hands, so like it can be an issue because like when you have the slide release, the magazine release, all that you kind of got to manipulate with your thumb or your finger depending on the gun.
Yeah.
And if you have tiny hands or even weak hands, you have to make adjustments. Like Michelle has kind of we call it her fucked up thumb because it like dislocated, so she can't really push the magazine release with that thumb because she has like no tendon left.
Yeah.
So she'll actually reach with her other thumb and press that slide release.
Oh, okay.
Which, it's a tad bit slower.
Yeah.
But she's practiced enough with it where she's still really good.
Nice.
And then most guns too, she has a hard time with like the slide release. It's a hard motion. And even for me, like you have to have some grip strength.
Yeah, you do.
You got to develop that before you can just go crazy with a gun.
Yeah, I was watching, was it John McPhee?
Yeah.
The SEAL?
Is that the sheriff?
Sheriff
of
yeah.
Baghdad.
And he was talking about shooting technique, and he was talking about how like getting higher on the gun is like it's for him technically that it was like it's a very helpful thing.
Yeah.
And I never thought about that because usually, at least what I've seen is just like you kind of keep this hand underneath, or right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm left-handed. Yeah. So it's like just on top instead of like.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of coming on
it
top of the
depends
gun in
a
a way.
lot too on the gun.
Yeah,
and maybe the size of your hands.
Right.
But most of my grip stuff I've developed. I mean, in trial and error, but also Taryn has a kind of a specific way he teaches you with the gun. It's very like you end up with your thumbs very forward, like you point your thumbs at the target almost, and that makes you kind of like have to wrap around, and it's like a push pull method where you're like driving forward with this hand, but then pulling back with that hand. And that's what locks the gun in place.
Right.
And then as long as your thumbs are forward.
Yeah.
So that's where you're shooting from. And you're seeing like the old movies too, but it used to be a style. Like I think the old like FBI used to use the teacup method.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They're holding like this.
Well, Clint Eastwood with the Magnum.
Yeah. Like,
and I mean that thing was just.
But then also too with the grip on that gun, you can't really wrap.
Oh,
the
that
same
is
way.
True. Yeah.
It depends on the gun too. And then even the way you like rack the guns, like the old school, like Russians always racked like from they would pull it like kind of back this way. Where now most of the military stuff is you're going to rack with
from
the top like that way. The old school style was like turn the gun and rack it this way.
Interesting.
That's all kind of just gone, but it was before anybody was really like, I think putting a ton into work and like studying gun mechanics and tactics.
What's more efficient
to get them to a point of that. Like,
yeah. Are Russians, I don't, this is a random question, but are Russians within the gun competition community? Are there like high level Russians?
I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends where you're at. Like we joke around here because like I've been to competitions with her, and man, the Filipinos, they own that shit.
Really?
Like they're and they
like the men and women.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's not a lot of women. Like
women.
I'd say 5% women.
Okay.
Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's a boys' club.
Right. For sure.
But there's some really good female shooters, and like even though Taryn's like we joke about the gun bunnies out there, but they're all pretty badass shooters too. Like most of them will shoot better than me on most days.
Yeah,
and some are really really good.
Oh,
dang. So it's like
but Filipinos.
But like man, it's a
ex-military Filipinos, or
a
what?
lot of them are as well.
Really? Okay.
And you know what? I think, of course, like if you go to, let's say, I don't know, Nebraska, and go to a shooting competition, probably not going to find a lot of Filipinos at that shooting competition.
Yeah.
But you kind of go in Northern California or like Northern LA here. Or just Asian in general, there's a pretty big Asian population here. And apparently they like to shoot.
Wow. I would never have thought that,
Yeah. Dang. It was weird too. I go in there, I'm looking around, I'm like, there's a lot of Asian people here. And they all got these badass guns and they're good shooters. And
wow.
It's pretty cool.
How does she get into it?
Yeah, shit. I don't to get into it. I honestly don't know.
Did she grow up with like? Did her dad have a gun?
I don't think so. No, her dad. I don't think he was not into guns at all.
Yeah. Well, it was after that one time I had to shoot someone. Then I just started to train.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. She's so cool. She's got like everything. She played in the lingerie football league. She's done pro wrestling. She's done jiu-jitsu competitions.
Dang.
She's done like Muay Thai smokers. Like,
oh shit.
yeah, like, and then got into guns. She's got a dirt bike.
Yeah.
Like we ride motorcycles. She snowboards.
Wow.
She's kind of always got her hand in about anything. That's anything that's fun to do.
Dude.
And
I don't think I could
for
ever.
a woman too. Like,
oh, it's awesome.
Those are mostly like guy things.
Yeah.
Like dirt bike, like whatever.
Oh,
but,
you find a chick that's
like,
down with that. You're like, can you please stay around?
Yeah. I'm like,
please.
Can you and that's a funny thing. We always
I'll fix you food.
We always joke because I'm in the kitchen, you know, in my underwear cooking food, and she's cleaning her guns on the kitchen table.
Right.
You know, like, honey, when's dinner ready? I'm like, almost, babe. I'll be out in a second.
15 more minutes on
She's
the roast.
This is cold. Slaps me. You know, like that's
racks the gun on your face.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the kind of relationship we have. Like,
that's perfect.
I do the cooking.
Yeah.
She cleans the guns.
Nice.
You know?
Nice.
So.
Dude, a smoker, a Muay Thai smoker, I've always been scared of.
I mean, you should be.
Just because it's almost inevitable you're going to take an elbow down the middle. That's like one of my biggest, like when I would always like train, I would make sure I never got an elbow distance, like when sparring, because I just didn't, guy will have an elbow pad on or whatever, but like I'm just like, I don't want to risk ever taking that in a competition.
Yeah.
If I got to that, because I'm like, when you do see an elbow come right down the middle and just kind of split somebody, I'm just like, if I can do anything to avoid that, I'm going to try.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of getting punched in the face. That's why I kind of like jiu-jitsu, and everybody kind of jokes about it being like the most pussy of all the
oh, really?
martial arts.
Well, okay, I can see that.
There's
yeah.
no striking.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know
for
if
sure.
All the other martial arts have some form of striking in them.
Right.
And so like, but
probably because a lot of guys get real cocky who have only done jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you haven't like boxed a little bit or wrestled a little bit, and you're like that nerd that's cocky as well. Yeah. It's like, yeah.
But then, also that kind of adds to the longevity of it too. Like, the more you get punched in the face, like probably the worse you're going to be when you're older.
Yeah.
So and again, my shoulders and elbows and knees are all fucked up from jiu-jitsu. So it's not like I'm doing a ton better, but I think my brain's better.
For sure.
If I did boxing or Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Not getting kicked and elbowed in the face, probably better long-term for my brain. Maybe 100%. Not so much for my joints.
Yeah.
But
I was training a guy. We would train out here, and I was teaching him how to kickbox. And dude, some days we get done sparring, and I'd get clipped a couple times, but then I'd just be a little foggy for the rest of the day, and I'm just like, I hope this isn't anything. And I would just like put in the back of my mind, but every time clipped a little bit, a little foggy for the rest of the day. I'm just like, damn, I need to not ever train this guy again. I just need to admit that like I don't need that the money from this one client, and we'll just find another person. But yeah, because I stopped sparring back in Charlotte. I was sparring at a big MMA gym, some guys that were fighting for Bellator back in like 2013, 14. And you remember Ricky Rainey?
Nope.
So he fought for Bellator. He actually fought against Michael Venom and Page.
Okay.
And it ended how usually it ends with Michael
Venom
Venom Page.
Like a great fight for him.
Yeah. And but he was a pretty good guy, a really good striker. He caught me with an elbow behind my ear. I got too close. Caught me. He had an elbow pad on, but when you're sparring, that shit just slides down to your wrist.
Yep.
And they're like, "Well, I got the pad on. I can still throw the elbow, right?" Technically, you're correct, sir. Yeah. And I caught one to right behind the ear, and it was like one of those old timey photographer, like you put the drape over you, click, and just the powder or whatever,
just gone.
Yeah, it was just like poof, and I was like, "Hey guys, I think I'm gonna sit out. I gotta collect myself right quick." Yeah. And I'm sitting on the side of the ring, and I'm like, that had never happened. I'd taken shots before. I was like, I think I want to use my brain. I don't think I should be sparring this hard anymore.
Yeah. I've never been like, I guess, hitting the head that hard ever. I've taken a liver shot, like a really bad one. That was enough to make me rethink that, just wanting to get punched and kicked.
Yeah.
And then I think it was one time Chad actually, it was basically like he just like cut me in the back of the neck, but it was like a slap
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
pull at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's like, so, and he's demonstrating for the class. So
Yeah.
he just does this and like,
You just weren't
wham.
ready.
And I'm still facing this way, and I kind of open my eyes, and there's nobody in front of me. Chad's now behind me. He like hit me and then went around.
Right.
And I'm still like,
You're still shocked.
and I'm like, and then I look around, he's a big old smile on his face, class is laughing, like, because they know, like, I for like 3 or 4 seconds,
This is
like,
a concussion.
I was kind of I didn't know what was happening.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I'm like, and that was just in the back of the neck. Like, it was just so, and he was like, did that on purpose. Like, he knows like the pressure points of weird spots on your body where you get hit that just
Can't really trust that guy.
I wouldn't.
You can't really trust him.
That's the one guy, like, I would never want to get a fight with because like
the levels at which he'll go.
even if you won, you're going to lose body parts and eyeballs. And like,
he'll take something.
yes, things are going to break,
He'll at least bite some flesh off.
I mean, you're probably still going to lose. Regardless.
Right, yeah.
It'll probably be over before I know it.
you got a better chance now that he's older.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of injuries.
Yeah. If I maybe sneak up on him,
Yeah.
he's
There
not
you go.
looking. He's on the phone. I could just shank him.
Yeah.
But
perfect.
that's still the only shot you got.
Right.
Like,
I remember he told me I banged my knee up doing judo. Duh. And
weird.
yeah, well, weird, dude. And I'm like, dude, I can't do judo anymore, man. And I love coming here and blah, blah. He's like, yeah, it sounds like an ACL thing. And I was like, yeah, I know. That's fuck, right? And he was like, a couple of months.
Yeah.
I said, hold on, a couple months for what? And he's like, yeah, rehab, surgery, rehab, you'll be fine. And I was like, I don't know if I've heard anyone say a couple months ever. No PT, no knee surgeon.
Well, I don't.
And I'm like, I feel the way he said it, I feel like he did it. And
for sure.
so I wasn't gonna be like, nah. I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, I can't continue this conversation.
I think maybe it was just more like a couple months and the pain will be gone, and so you don't have an ACL anymore, and it doesn't hurt.
That's what it
so
was.
You're back in.
Yeah.
Like, that's I think how.
My bad.
Yeah.
He was right.
Yeah, he was.
The pain just goes.
Yeah. Once the pain stops, you're good to go. It doesn't matter.
Just gotta bring the inflammation down.
Like your knee buckles every time you step sideways, but that's fine. It doesn't
Totally
hurt.
fine.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine, dude, like completely tearing my ACL and going through that rehab.
I think I had a pretty good tear in my MCL.
Yeah.
It was like
on the inside.
Yeah, it was like 6-8 months. And I was still in pain, and it would like if I did anything to it, just flare up and like couldn't bend my knee for like 3 or 4 days.
God.
And then I went to Mexico, got some stem cells.
Okay.
And properly rehabbed it like I should have. I might have not. Again, I think the stem cells definitely helped.
Right.
But I also was not doing like letting it heal like I should.
Right.
But once I got the stem cells, the doctor was like, okay, like you can't do anything for a month. And I'm like, okay, so like no leg workouts. He goes, no workouts. Like you don't like, there's no
nothing
bench
PT?
pressing, like nothing. He's
Okay.
like, just leave your knee alone. He's like, no heat, no ice, no pain meds, no nothing. He's like, just light walks.
Light
He's like,
walks.
you go for a walk every day.
Okay.
He's like, that's all I want you to do for at least a month.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, so no alcohol. That's really bad for stem cells, which is fine
interesting.
with me. I don't drink
Yeah,
much. So I was like, cool. But he's like, then he gives me the doctor speech. I'm like, well, no alcohol. I go, for how long? He goes, well, never. Why are you drinking? What do you need to drink for? I'm like, I like margaritas. He's like, no, just don't drink ever again. And I'm like, right. And then he goes, okay, 30 days. The same as if,
Yeah.
just don't do anything for 30 days.
Yeah.
But, which I actually followed through with.
And that helped?
Yeah. And then, but he told me too, he's like, the stem cells don't even really start doing most of their work for like maybe 1 to 3 months after treatment.
Oh, okay.
And then around like the 3 to 6 months is when they really start like rebuilding, repairing, whatever. And he goes, you probably still won't see like full recovery till like 6 to 9 months. But that was right before John Wick 4. So it was actually really good timing because I kind of took a month off and then we got out to John Wick 4 and.
Were you in John Wick 4?
Yeah.
Damn, which? Oh yeah, you were.
Yeah.
You were. Yeah, I remember.
I get chucked.
At the Asian.
Yeah, in the hotel.
Yeah, in the lobby, right?
Yeah, I'm in the lobby, and then I end up in kind of a numchuck fight with Keanu later in John Wick later in the movie.
As the same character.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Even though like it kind of looks.
You
like
played about 3 or 4.
Like I die. It looks like I die in that opening part of that.
Right.
But then I just show up later. But then there was like when you got a fucking 100 guys and you're killing everybody and like. What am I supposed to do?
It all blends in.
Shot, you got egg on your face. Like, he's like, okay, just fall on the ground and fucking die. And it's like, all right. So I do that, but then I'm like, but like 10 minutes later, I got to fight. And he's like, nah, nobody will notice. Like, nobody really does.
I got to find it now.
Yeah, nobody really does.
But you know what? I always think about if those situations were real, like, there's some guys acting like they died.
What do you mean?
Like they get winged.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, I'm dead. And they just lay there as the bullets fly. And then maybe they come up later.
I think about that in a lot of movies. Like, maybe just play dead.
Yeah.
And like let the army run through and then like get up and be like, shit.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
because like
that movie needs to be made.
There's points where you look out and go, oh, we're losing badly. We're all dead.
Yeah.
Right. And just kind of lay there and like with one eye half open, make sure.
Exactly.
But then you do see the things where the guys are going through and like just stabbing the dead bodies afterwards. You're like, yeah, that'd be a shitty way to go too.
Oh no.
You're like,
oh, he's coming my way.
Fake the spear in like your arm. Just sit there. I'm already dead.
I'm already. I was talking about fight scenes, dude. Have you seen? It's Taylor Sheridan.
Yep, probably seen it.
Yeah. Why am I blanking? Sicario.
Sicario. Yeah.
I'd never watched it when it came out, and I love Taylor Sheridan, what he's done. I watched everything else. Hell or High Water.
Great movie.
Wind River, Yep. So anyways, I finally watched Sicario, and the fight scene, and you'll know what I'm talking about, when Emily Blunt, after what's his face, Benicio del Toro shoots her because she's saying, hey, put your gun down, don't hold him hostage, and he's like, boom, boom, don't get in my way. She walks back through the tunnel to Josh Brolin's character, and she just hauls off and punches Josh Brolin, right? You remember this, right?
Yep.
Josh Brolin grabs her, puts her on the ground, and just big brothers her.
Yeah.
And I was like, where has this been?
Yep.
I love that. Like, that's the best fight scene I've seen. Like, or not really a fight scene, but like a
realistic of like what it really looks like.
And I was like, thank God somebody did that.
Yeah.
That was so nice. And not that I want to see a man, big brother a woman, but like in that situation, you wouldn't really want to punch a woman back. You don't want to, you're not going to exchange a punch for punch with a woman, especially your superior, or, someone underneath you.
Yeah. True. And it's still kind of frowned upon in movies. Even like
really?
we try to avoid it, like a direct, like even in the first John Wick, like remember when he's in the hotel and the female assassin character comes in.
That's not Ruby Rose. That's
no.
Oh man, who is that?
Adrian Palicki, I think is her name.
Yeah, she was in like Gossip Girl.
Yeah, I think it was Adrian Palicki. She comes in, tries to shoot him. They end up in a fight.
Right.
He does punch her in the face, but only after he wraps a sheet around her head.
That's right.
Wraps a sheet around, then wham.
Now that was consciously thought of, like you can't see a man's fist.
The sheet was not part of it originally, and then we were all like, I mean, we already killed a damn dog. Like,
yeah, it's true.
Can we just
be punching women, dude.
Full on punch a chick in the face,
cover her face up.
Like, what if we wrap her up? It did. It made it so much like easier to watch.
That I didn't think about that.
But
dude.
you don't see
That's
a
good
lot
point.
of just dudes punching women in the face, and it's still because it's like it's pretty uncomfortable for everybody to watch. Like, it's one of those things. And if I can like Atomic Blonde.
Yeah,
like she
right.
took a lot of beatings on that.
Yeah,
which I think we did pretty well. And it seemed realistic. And
yeah,
like at the end of it, when she goes in that tub and she's all covered head to toe in bruises.
Right.
Like you don't ever see that in a movie either.
Yeah,
you got like
that's true.
The main character's been thrown downstairs, kicked them, whatever,
and no physical bruises.
And they're like they're pretty much okay.
Yeah.
That's why a good point. I did like the John Wick because that too. Like he, again. Nobody could take that amount of abuse, and
for sure,
the whole bulletproof suit thing of like, I could just take round after round in this suit. Like, okay, we're gonna suspend belief for a little bit on certain things, but by the end of it, like he looks like he's gonna die. He's
limping, walking with a limp.
He's bleeding.
That's huge.
And I'm not even sure Keanu's acting because we beat the shit out of him on that movie. So it's like,
how much of the falling down that staircase was him?
I don't think he did any of that.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a really. He does. I mean,
good God,
like fight stuff and even the fight and the driving. I want to say it's like 95% Keanu.
Mm-hmm.
Like he does everything, like legit. But And there's just things that are just too damn risky.
Right.
Like a fall down the stairs. Like
Too
to
much.
risk your main character. Like if there's a driving thing where the car crashes
Right.
or any of the car hits.
Right.
You know, it's like, it's just not worth it.
No.
So, but again, like it's mostly all him.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty cool. And that's why, you know, we could get away with that shooting style of like the long, wide shots. Is because you're not normally seeing like the double punch, over the shoulder the other way. The main actor,
right.
They flash to their face just to get a look.
Yeah.
And so you still believe it's the actor.
Right.
But it's like, no, like you see him the whole time. There's no swapping anybody out.
Are there any other actors that can that have the judo and jiu-jitsu training that are like in that age range that can do that?
I mean, you got like your Tom Cruise, which he legitimately like does all his own stunts. Like every one of them he's done. And
he
again,
breaks all his own ankles.
Yeah. And again, like he has a really good, probably even team of doubles that will prep and plan and iron all that out before Tom Cruise even gets on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
They've already nailed this 100 times with the double.
Right.
You know, so.
But as far as like fight scenes.
But fight scenes, yeah, man.
It's hard to think,
I don't know of anybody who's put in the amount of training that Keanu did for John Wick movies.
Especially with judo, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu. Like that's...
Because it was like, you know, it was...
It's a hard thing to...
4 hours a day, 5 days a week for months and months and months.
People can do boxing and kickboxing and, you know, martial arts stuff like that, but the commitment to get on the mat.
With the judo and that kind of thing, the rolls.
Yeah.
You know, he's not a spring chicken, but
he's close to 60, right?
I think he's in his late 50s.
Late 50s, yeah.
But he's got a switch that turns on and he can get it done. You know? And it kind of reminds me a little bit of like, remember like when Yoda pulled out the lightsaber?
Right.
He's limping and then he pulls out the lightsaber and like, bing, 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 and then he puts it away and then starts limping again.
Yeah.
Like Keanu's got
That's
a little
Keanu
bit of
with the
that,
cigarette
where,
at
like,
the end.
He just throws down like fucking crazy and then he gets done and he's like, ugh. Yeah.
God.
And then he goes smoke a cigarette, you know, like chills. But
that's funny.
Like, you've got that like on off switch that like, you know, and you have to be,
you gotta be like
pretty
that, right?
masochistic as well to even want to go through that.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Cause again, like, and that's the whole thing is like the whole movie is rough to do. Like we're shooting nights. We're in a
4 months.
Yeah. Like John Wick 4 was all nights. Like we got there and prepped during the day and then we just went to nights and never stopped.
Yeah.
Which just fucks up everything about your brain, body, everything gets messed up. Like you like after
you
the
age
first,
quicker too.
Yeah, after like the first week, you're adapted to that schedule as far as like alertness and awakeness, but like your body never feels right. Like every time
something's still fucked up here.
Every time you're eating, it feels weird. Like because now you're eating breakfast at dinner time.
Yeah.
Now you're like we would get done with the shoot at like 5 a.m. and then have breakfast.
Yeah.
And then go to bed.
Yeah.
And then you like wake up and have dinner.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest.
Did you have to get blackout curtains in your hotel?
I just have a sleeping mask. I got a really good sleeping mask.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because I have to have it like pitch dark.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty custom. I got my white noise thing on my phone and my sleeping mask, and I'm pretty good.
The Mantis? Is it Mantis?
Yeah, I think it is a Mantis.
I think that's the one I got for all my psychedelic therapy sessions.
Probably.
I got to get this blacked out. Yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah, it's really comfortable. I need to get another one because I have one that I always like forgetting where I put it because I'll take it with me when I travel.
Yeah. And you've only got one?
I've only got one.
Yeah.
I gotta get a couple.
Get another one.
Stash those wherever.
Don't buy another pair of boots, know, and get two more. Mantis,
2 more, probably. Yeah, they're not
blindfolds.
But they're not cheap. I feel
that
like
is
they're
true.
like $80 or something like that.
That is true.
But they are like compared to all the other like cheap ass ones you would buy in like Target or like they're night and day difference.
Yeah, for sure.
I can get by with that. Like sometimes I just be like, fuck it, put my shirt over my eyes and I'll be okay.
Yeah.
But that Mantis thing, man, it's great.
Yeah. When I was training with y'all, I was working at Enterprise, close to it, and I was on the graveyard shift. So I'd get off at 6:30 and then train at 7.
Wow.
And then just coming home after training, you're just like,
yeah.
And the sun's up and everybody's like doing their thing. You're just like, I can't sleep now.
Yep.
I guess I'm going to sleep at noon today.
Yep. It was weird. Like when we were shooting John Wick 3, we did this motorcycle. The thing where he's fighting on the bridge on the motorcycles, pulls out a sword. He's fighting on a sword.
The last one.
John Wick 3.
3, Parabellum.
Yeah. No, the last one was Parabellum. I don't know what John Wick 3 was.
Okay. But anyways,
But
motorcycle, swords.
there was a section of that, like that was a combination of a bunch of shots. Some of it was practical, some of it was in a green screen thing.
Right.
We had this really complicated thing.
Oh, 3 was Parabellum.
What, 3 was Parabellum?
Damn. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, my brain. Too many John Wicks. They all flow together now.
Too many chops to the neck. Bike scene.
But that was, and they all had, it was basically, it's supposed to look like one shot. So we had to like.
This one right here?
Yeah.
So this was supposed to be one shot.
Well, the part where he's fighting had to be one shot.
Okay.
Like right, I think it's kind of coming up. Like this stuff.
Yeah.
This is all like one shot. You'll see it just keeps going.
This is a 6 shot. Yeah.
There's a couple digital like stitches in here, but
Right.
it looks like a one shot. So
Like
that
that.
camera, that's a digital. I can actually see the switch. So then, but this is all done on a green screen set in a studio.
Right.
So, but at night, and we were shooting it for so long, we would go into the set at like 3 in the afternoon. It's light out. Stay inside all day shooting this. More light, more light, more light. Come out at like 8 a.m. in the morning.
Damn.
It's now sunny still.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see the dark for like a week.
Dang.
And you're just like, your body just doesn't know what to do.
No.
You know, it was so weird. I'm just like, no matter what, it's daytime in my world. You know?
Yeah. I did that graveyard job for 3 years, dude. And I felt like I aged 10 years.
Yeah.
Obviously I didn't, but there was a different feeling when it was over.
It is. And that's why, like, I do appreciate the movies of working on them, though, because now every other movie seems so easy.
Right.
Like if we're on day shifts and we're only shooting like 10 to 12 hours a day, I'm like, this is so easy.
Right.
Like, this is nothing.
That's
you
good.
know?
Yeah, that's a great perspective
So,
shifter.
It's nice. And
Yeah.
like, I've never done any fight scenes that were nearly as hard as the ones of John Wick or had to be nearly as perfect.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah. Dang.
it definitely like builds you up for like, you're pretty prepped for anything.
Yeah, you have to be. After doing the whole John Wick series, what can be more
More intense,
intricate?
overall. And I didn't even have it that hard. Like I kind of end up with these smaller, like I don't want to call them character roles, but I'm noticeable.
Yeah.
I'm not like your random fall guy, but like
Nah.
most of those guys, like most of our team, they're dying like 5 times a day
Mm-hmm.
in a different spot. It's like, okay, you fall down the stairs here. Okay, go change your outfit. Now you're gonna fall down the stairs over here. You
Right.
know? But me, it's hard to hide me.
Yeah,
So
it is.
you see me, I do my fight scene.
goatee.
I'm kind of done.
Yeah.
You know, I might have like 5-6 days of hard fighting, and then I might not have anything to do for like another month.
Right.
But like the rest of these guys, man, they're just getting hammered.
Yeah.
Daily, all day, every day.
That's a rough life.
Yeah. I mean, it's more of a young man sport at that point. Like these guys are in their kind of 20s, maybe early 30s.
Yeah.
But once you start getting like mid, late 30s,
Yeah, you can't be taking those bumps.
Those kind of bumps get tough.
Damn. Dude.
Yeah.
I had an idea for a new John Wick movie.
Yeah. Pitch it. Go ahead. I've heard them all.
All right,
What
you
do we
might
got?
not have heard of this one. The main villain is a female woman, right? Well,
Female.
hey, you gotta specify.
You're right.
All right.
I appreciate that.
And she's
What,
all
the
about
pronouns.
she they,
She they. Okay. All right.
and she's all about hiring other female bodyguards
Right.
to protect her. And John Wick somehow has to get to her and has to go through all these
So
women.
you just want to kill a bunch of women.
So really the story is about how many women does it take to stop John Wick. Have you heard that one yet?
I have not.
I feel like people these
But
days
man,
would be down with that one.
They might be.
But-
I mean, I think the only higher you could go is like it would be a leader that just hires puppies to protect him, and then you'd be like, how many puppies does John Wick have to kill to get to this guy?
All because of his
Like that might trump,
puppy dying.
That might trump the women thing, but other than that, I think you're pretty spot on. Of like,
Yeah. Because, I mean, you ever thought about that? Like, if you were locked in a room with only women.
why are you in the room?
All right, so
What
let me set
women?
this up. So, and you had to
Do you know
survive.
these women? Were you
Yeah.
texting them? Will you see them on Instagram?
Sorry. Yeah,
Pull the girlfriend move on you.
my bad.
No, let's go there.
So,
They're outside. They won't
Yeah,
see
they
this
won't
until
hear-
next week.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
won't deal with the consequences.
Yeah, exactly. Honey, I was having a great time,
Yeah.
We're just being boys. Yeah. Don't you want me to have good friends?
Yeah.
And you're fighting them to the death, right? This is the scenario, right? How many women do you think you could how here's the better question.
okay.
How many women do you think it would take to stop you? No weapons.
I think that's highly dependent on the women.
For sure.
Because I've met some fucking badasses in my day that I'm like,
Absolutely.
you know, when it gets down to it, like that chick would kill me. I mean, not, you know, not like one-on-one, but like she saw an opening, gouges an eyeball.
Right. I got to keep my eye on her.
Rips your nuts off.
Yeah.
Like, or just like, I mean.
I can't go soft.
I remember Gabby Garcia?
Oh, yeah.
Like.
All right. No, there's no Gabby Garcias in the room.
Okay. I don't want to fight her ever.
No, me either.
And again,
not pulling guard.
She's such a sweetheart. Like
Not
she's
pulling
been to our
guard.
gym a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
Sweetheart, but she's
Nice.
bigger than me.
Yeah, she's a big one.
And a black belt. Like a legit black belt. So like.
Yeah, real good position.
Okay, you know,
Position.
I don't want to fight her.
No.
Even one-on-one in a room. You
All
know?
right, let's
So-
say you've got they're all about the size of what's an actress? Just
if they're like again,
like Blake Lively's.
yeah.
Yeah, but she's in some heat. Maybe we'll bring Blake Lively into this.
But I don't know. I might get a lot of likes.
She's pretty tall.
If I punch her in the face, I bet there'd be a lot of people happy about it.
I think so right now.
I mean, there'd be a lot of people unhappy still.
For sure.
A couple of people would be like, heart that shit.
You know what? The worst thing about the whole Blake Lively thing is Courtney loves Gossip Girl. And every morning when we get up at like 3 or 4, she puts it on, and I'm just like drinking my coffee, trying to want to live, you know. And she's watching Gossip Girl, and I never watched Gossip Girl.
Gossip Girl.
Yeah, dude, it was like mid 2000s or something like that.
Sure, I've seen some of it.
Yeah, but it was like what made Blake Lively's career when she was younger. And I just never, it wasn't my high school drama. You know what I mean? And the more I watch it, I'm like, yeah, she's got chops. Like, you know, like you can tell what the casting director saw at a young age with her. And, you know, and she's had a career. But I never saw her beginning acting. And so, like, the longer I watch it, I'm like, okay, yeah, she's keeping this show going. I like this character. She's doing, and then all this stuff comes out. I'm like, damn, I finally started liking Blake Lively.
Yeah.
And all that shit happens.
What was a movie I saw her in where there's these two guys. I'm trying to remember their name. Wow, that's a good start. There's two guys. But they get involved with these drug dealers. One guy's ex-military.
Yeah. That was
something like.
That was, what's his name from Friday Night Lights?
Yeah.
Taylor
Kitsch is one of the guys.
Yeah.
Trying to remember who the other guy is, but she was in that.
Yeah.
She was kind of like, had a little weird hinting at a love triangle kind of thingy going on.
Right. That was Oliver Stone movie.
Yes. And then they end up kidnapping her.
Oh.
The drug dealers do. And like holding her for ransom. But
let's see here. Savages.
That was like the first movie I'd ever really noticed her in. Like that was the first time I saw her, and I was like, oh yeah, like she's legit.
I had no idea that Aaron Taylor Johnson was in that. Did you remember him in there?
Yeah.
That's the other dude.
Yeah, the other guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other guy.
Yeah.
It's so funny that he's now like the other guy in so many situations, and you're like, nah, he's the guy.
He's the guy.
Like Kick-Ass comes out.
Did you see Bullet Train?
Yeah.
Yeah, him and what's that black guy's name?
Damn. It's the white guy and a black guy.
Of course we forget the black guy's name. Make me look bad. Can we edit this part out? Just give me that name real quick. We'll cut it in.
Dude, I bet that guy's got a great sense of humor.
But Lemon and Tangerine, wasn't that their nicknames? In the movie? Their
Bullet
brothers. That pair duo was so fucking good.
Yeah, David did that, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
That was another movie I loved that like I think should have done better than it did.
Brian Henry.
Yeah, Brian Henry.
Yeah, Tangerine.
That
and
was
lemon.
that was like my favorite. I mean, Brad Pitt's always pretty good. Brad Pitt. But
yeah.
Those two guys together, that relationship dynamic they had was
a fun
awesome.
one.
That was super fun.
You really do have to get. You can write those characters, but then the actors have to really put it together.
Yep.
You know, they gotta be able to play off each other for sure.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny though? Like Aaron Taylor Johnson makes Kick-Ass and then kind of disappears for like a decade, kind of does a few projects.
Yep.
And then now he's all of a sudden like had 4 movies in 6 months or something like that.
Well, I mean, he was in Fall Guy.
Craven.
Which what's weird going on with Craven? I heard they like pulled it from theaters and then they put it back in theaters and
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. And then it like went to streaming. I don't know.
Huh. I just heard that the Rhino CGI was a little off.
I'm sure.
Just
It's
fighting
still
a,
hard.
fighting a man turned rhino.
It's still hard to make
in the
animals.
Sahara.
Although, like
You're-
the trailers I've seen for the new Lion King, it looks pretty good.
You mean Mufasa?
Mufasa, yeah.
Yeah. Hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah. I've seen some trailers and I'm like, that looks legit. Like that
Yeah.
animation, like
Oh, yeah.
is believable enough, but like they're not trying to make it so realistic
Right.
that you're like, okay, guys, we know these aren't real fucking lions.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it's good enough where you're like, okay, these are talking lions in a movie and they're really, really well done.
Right.
You know.
Um,
So what was that? There's another movie too with that dog. Like the whole dog was fictional the whole time where they're like in the Arctic and maybe it was a Tom Hanks movie where he had this like big old Saint Bernard dog, I think, and the dog was complete CG and it was like so hard to watch. Like I tried. That was actually a great movie. Turner Hooch might be one of my favorite movies ever.
Finch?
No, maybe it wasn't Tom Hanks,
Okay.
but I don't know why it's in my brain.
Dog CGI movie.
Let's see what they come up with.
Not the Call of the Wild.
No, yeah, maybe it was this.
Was it?
Harrison Ford. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Not
This
Tom
one.
Hanks, Harrison Ford.
Okay.
Tried to watch it.
Couldn't do it.
CG dog. Not good.
Uh-huh.
Like, or I don't know, just not good enough. Like I feel like you could have used a real dog and then enhanced it maybe for what you needed or
Right.
some parts.
Well, they already did. They did that version.
Yeah. But I don't know. It just I couldn't.
It just wasn't believable, huh?
Yeah. I couldn't do it.
Well, the stills look believable.
Yeah. You know.
But once the dog starts talking,
Yeah.
this is a new interpretation of Call of the Wild. Dude, Avatar. The realistic CGI on Avatar. What do you...
I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was good enough where like,
Yeah.
you know, and again, when you're doing it with like an alien race, it makes way more sense.
Right.
Because we don't really know what that alien race would really look like anyway.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
when you do it with a human or a dog,
Yeah.
your brain already goes, yeah, that's not real.
Right. Exactly.
I know alien races aren't real either, but like if they were real, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty
You
good.
know? So I'm there with that. Like I don't mind the CG when you
Yeah, that makes sense.
trying to make me believe something that my brain doesn't already know what it is.
Yeah. I'm just glad they didn't make the second one 3D.
I didn't see the first one in 3D.
Dude, that first one, man,
You're just like,
I couldn't see straight for a
I don't
day,
do well
dude.
in 3D. I've been to a couple 3D movies,
Yeah.
and if it's like, I think there's a sweet spot of like some things are 3D.
Right.
Like it's funny. I actually went to my cousin Kelly, who's married Dave Leitch now.
Yeah. That's your cousin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, she's the one that got me this job out here, pretty much.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
she's awesome. But she, I believe, her company, she used to work with this company called Sierra Affinity, and I think they bought or at least had some money in revamping and then releasing Shark Night 3D.
Okay.
And I went to the premiere with her of that,
Dude,
which was
why
hilarious.
didn't you call me?
Because she had just moved to California.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
she hadn't been here that long either. So she gives me a
was
call, like,
great.
cuz, like, let's roll to the Shark Night 3D premiere. We walked the red carpet, but there was nobody else there. So,
Yeah.
but it was cool. But the only parts that were 3D were like jump scares with the sharks, and it honestly scared the shit out of me every fucking time.
Oh, yeah, because it's popping right out at you.
Like, and
Damn.
and the rest of the movie again, not great,
Right.
But like, there was some moments in there where I'm, you know, like I jumped in my seat a couple times. I'm like, all right, you got me, motherfucker.
got
Like you did a good job with that part.
Yeah.
And but those were
good
the-
usage of 3D.
great use of 3D.
Yeah.
But then there's some things I can't remember any other movies I've seen in 3D. I probably put them out of my brain because I just couldn't.
I saw My Bloody Valentine. Remember the that remake with Jensen Ackles?
Okay. Yep.
I saw that one. It was a horror movie, a remake of an old horror movie.
Yeah.
My Bloody Valentine movie. I think it was in 3D. Yeah. Yeah, 2009, Jensen Ackles. But yeah, I try not to. But people don't even. I mean, when was the last time a 3D movie came out? This was 2009.
I don't know.
Avatar was.
Yeah. I'm gonna really date myself with this one, but I remember seeing
2009 as well.
at Disney World. That's the one in Florida.
Florida, yeah.
There was like a Michael Jackson experience that
Oh,
was
yeah.
in 3D, and that was like the first ever. Like this, because I'm maybe 8 years old, so I don't know, 35 plus years ago.
Yeah.
But it was like parts of it were 3D, And I remember as a kid just being like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Wow.
Because like a thing flies out of the screen, goes over your head.
Dang.
And you're just like, like
and
this was,
and it's just a screen, right?
just a normal screen. You got your 3D glasses on.
Yeah.
Actually, I think they only had you put your glasses on at like a certain time. They're like, put your glasses on now. And you put them on and then some 3D shit happens. But it was like, I can't remember if it was like Thriller or something. It was like a whole compilation of Michael Jackson stuff.
Right.
But then with 3D parts to it.
Oh, yeah.
And like, it was, as a kid, I was like, I don't know, probably 7, 8 years old. It was freaking mind blowing.
Yeah. Especially because you want to be Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean,
At that point, he was the coolest.
You're like, I want to be
coolest dude
just like this guy. 15 years later. Maybe not just like this guy. Hey, you change a few things.
You know.
How tough was the Avatar stunt work? Do you have any buddies on that? 'Cause I know Steve Brown.
Yeah, Steve Brown. There's a guy named Solomon Brendy, I believe his last name is. He worked on it a bunch, especially on the second one.
Great
There's
name.
a lot of work in the tanks they did because they actually they shoot all that stuff at the same studios that we have our offices in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, James Cameron's been there forever, like at the same studio, Manhattan Beach Studios.
Okay.
It used to be Marvel Studios.
Okay.
And they sold it, and they sold it again, and sold it again.
But it's not in Manhattan.
Manhattan Beach.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not y'all's gym, but
no,
there's a
we have
studio.
production offices at the studio down there.
Gotcha.
And I'm walking into I think we were editing John Wick 2 or 3 maybe, and I'm walking into the building we were editing out of, and there's Solomon and like some other girl, I think, and they're laying on the sidewalk, and he's in like a kind of pair of like neoprene trunks, and she's in a bikini. And they're laying on the sidewalk at the studio, like in front of our building. And I like roll up, and I didn't really recognize that person. And I look down, and I'm like, Solomon? And he's like, oh, hey, Cale. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, we're just getting a little sun. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I can see that.
We've been wet all day.
But like, what about your house? Or like, and he's like, no, we're working on at the time. He didn't want to tell me what he's working on, but he's like, we've been in a water tank for like 8 hours, and it's dark in the tanks. Like that was like the underwater dark scenes,
Yeah.
He's like, so yeah, we haven't seen the sunlight in like 8 hours.
Damn.
That was brutal. Like that stuff it's pretty brutal because
I thought it was because the
just
behind the
dark,
scenes stuff
in
I
the
saw.
Water,
Yeah.
I mean, your hands are wrinkling up, like you're just exhausted, and they heat the water appropriately, but like,
still,
you're probably getting a little cold at times, and
being wet for too long when you don't want to be wet, never enjoyable.
That stuff was pretty rough, I bet.
Dang. Does Steven work with y'all on anything, or he kind of?
Well, I worked with him on Logan.
Okay.
Logan.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he was on Logan. He helped us train. We actually had Snoop in our place training for his role in Day Shift. Did you see Day Shift, the vampire movie
with Jamie
Foxx?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
that's right. He
so
did.
Snoop has a couple of fight scene stuff, and there's a shot where he comes in with this big old like freaking machine gun thing, and so
that's funny.
And his,
and he's like what?
He's tall.
But like, how old is he now?
Oh yeah, shit. He's got
60.
Yeah, maybe.
Damn.
But he came to our place to train, and they got Steve to help him out with that. And I don't know how Steve's got name thrown in the mix, but Steve just called me out of nowhere and goes, "Hey, they want me to come train Snoop at your place." And I was like, "Fuck yeah,
bring him in.
I want to meet Snoop."
Yeah,
and
he's only 53 actually.
53.
Damn, nice
dude. He is like he's
chill.
Dogg. Like rolls in,
Snoop
he got a big old head wrap on. He's just kind of like looking around. He's like, "Yeah, I heard about this place." I'm like, "Cool." And then like, but the dude's also like kind of ripped.
Yeah,
like,
right. He hasn't gained 1 pound of fat.
He takes his jacket off and he's got like a tank top on, and I'm like, he's like skinny ripped. Like he's got muscles, dude. Like it's not like he's just a skinny guy. Like he's got muscle on there.
Dang.
So
that's good.
He trained for like a week at our place, and Steve Brown was there training him.
Nice.
And it was pretty basic stuff, but it was pretty cool. Nice. But that might have been the last time I've seen Steve. I'm trying to think if I've seen him around since, but
it's been a while.
Yeah, I worked because he works a lot with Garrett Warren, who's kind of like usually the supervisor and stunt coordinator. Like he was the coordinator / second unit director on Logan.
Okay.
Same with Avatar, I believe. So he works a lot with him, and Garrett has taken really good care of me over the years too.
Oh, nice.
Like, he's not like part of 8711 in any way, but like I made friends with him, and he's taking good care of me.
Nice.
So calls me for jobs occasionally and stuff like that.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's always good to hear that, good people looking out for you. And Garrett Warren. Is this him?
Yeah, that's good.
Eye patched.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a crazy story. I won't tell it here.
Okay.
I'm sure it's publicly known, but
Was it during a shoot?
no.
Okay.
It's pretty fucked up.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
that's
you don't have to.
That's Garrett's business.
For sure.
I don't think he's shy about it, honestly, but like
Yeah.
that's not my business to air out.
Dude, I've never been scared of losing an eye until I heard.
I'm kind of always scared of losing an eye. I mean, not
Yeah.
like think about it, but you're like, man, if I lost an eye,
Oh, it'd
that'd
suck.
be horrible.
Yeah, for sure.
Because even like you go like this and you go, wow, this world sucks.
Yeah, this world sucks.
Like I can't.
What's
can't
on
even,
the left?
Yeah, like I would just run into walls
Yeah.
and.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be awful.
I noticed that too. I had a boxer named Bella, and we had to get one of her eyes removed, and then it just she had like a tumor in there.
Oh, a
Yeah.
boxer dog. I thought you meant we had a boxer at the gym. We had to get
My boxer dog, Bella.
bare knuckle boxing in the gym.
But I would just look at her sometimes. Like I'd watch her. She'd go through the house, and then she'd like make like a left turn and just run into the counter.
Oh, damn.
Because she didn't really see it there. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, that sucks. Like that's what it'd be like if you lost an eye.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
But you know, she was probably like just like chipper as fuck right
Yeah,
afterwards.
she didn't really. It didn't phase her at all.
I love that. I love because she'll do that. I don't know if she got bad eyes. I don't think she does, but she just does it.
Yeah.
Just quick turns right into a wall and just runs off like nothing happened, tongue out, and you're just like, you know what? There's a lot I can learn here. This is a good thing to have in my life.
She's taking that dog, like we always called her yearly maintenance, but like every year she'd get something like when I had to take her to the vet and she'd have a surgery. But like, man, 2 days later, just back at it. Like it never happened. And I'm like, man, what a fucking dogs are so resilient. Like,
They really
don't
are.
really and I could just for some reason, and maybe this is me, you know,
Promorphizing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a word
that
in
one.
there.
That big word.
her, but like I could like talk to her and she would understand.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be like, listen, we got to take you to the vet or you're going to die.
And you could
And
tell.
then like I'd have a talk with her before the vet takes her back. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna be right here when you get out. And she'd look at me and be like, and like go with the vet, you know?
Man, dude. Oof.
And then when she come home, I'd be like, all right, we're over it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're going to be in pain for a few days, but like, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And she'd be super chill, like for like a couple days, you know, probably because she's on some pain meds too.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden it would just be like, am I cool now? I'd be like, you're cool.
Yeah.
The normal dog, like nothing happened, you know,
Wow.
like even with the eye surgery, like
She was just good.
a few days after it, she's like, I'm good.
Damn.
Like whatever.
Mike Winklejohn. Remember him? One of John Jones's trainers for a long time. Because Greg Jackson.
I know the name. I don't know if I've ever seen a picture of him.
Yeah, so those are it was Jackson and Winklejohn. Those are the guys who own the gym. But anyways, he would always wear goggles when he would hold pads for his fighters. And it was just weird. It was like, okay, why
What
is this?
kind of goggles? Like
Kind of like swimming
Like swimming
goggles.
goggles?
Kinda. And you're like,
Speedo?
okay, yeah.
Speedo goggles?
Yeah.
All right.
Sponsored by Speedo. The only MMA athlete sponsored by Speedo. And you're just like, what the hell? And then I heard him tell a story where he was like, I was holding pads and I think he said like I was done or I thought we were done and the athlete threw a kick and the guy's toenail
yeah.
cut his eyeball and it just started leaking. You know, once you lose that fluid, it's done.
Yeah.
And I was like, hold on, that's a thing?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I got to protect my eyes from toenails now?
Eyes are pretty fucking weak.
Yeah.
Like you get like think about it. Like you could be the best fighter in the world. I poke you in the eye. You're done.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna lose that fight if I get a finger in your eyeball.
I know.
You know.
I got punched one time in college. Concussion for sure. Probably one of the first ones. Guy came into the gym with an old-timey boxing glove, you know, with the thumbs out.
Like the old brown leather.
Yes.
Nice.
And we're like, what are you doing with these? These are my grandpa's old boxing gloves. I'm gonna spar with them today.
Oh.
And we're like, oh, okay, cool. And so I'm a southpaw. He's an orthodox, so we're in the open, right in the open stance. And I throw my left, but I throw it wide and dip this way, right? Because I know the two's coming. Well, when he throws his counter two, his thumb catches my eye, dude. And I do one of these like, oh, I can't see. We got to stop. And I'm talking because I'm like, I don't know where he's at, and I hope he hears me. I'm like, so you got to stop. I can't see where I'm at. And like for a good 5 minutes, I could not see, even out of the other eye, that didn't get hit.
Wow.
It hurt so much
couldn't
to
even open your
even
eyes.
try to open this one that I had to keep this one shut.
Yeah.
And I mean, just blood red for like a week, busted all the blood vessels, but one thumb, dude. And I was like, oh my God. So this is what happens in a fight when they take that finger, you know, like when John Jones is not doing it on purpose and throws that finger. This is possibly something that they're feeling. And this was just a gloved thumb.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't be doing that
I
shit.
don't think I've ever been poked in the eye too bad. I mean, I got LASIK surgery, so that was like, that sucked.
Yeah.
Because like your just eyes feel like shit, like for a while.
Can you open them after? Like the day after?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of cool, like, because I mean, you have like a good vision like immediately.
Oh, okay.
Like it's kind of weird because you go in the room, you know, you go through all the pre stuff, and then the day of the surgery, you get in there, and there's like a clock on the wall in front of me, and you know, I don't have my contacts in, take my glasses off, and he's like, "What time is it?" And I was like, "I can't read that." He goes, "Okay." And then like we do the surgery. I didn't really think much of it, and then he tells me what time it is. I go, "Okay, cool." And then we do the surgery, and then I sit up, and he goes, "What time is it?" I just look up. I go, "It's 3:15," and he's like, "Cool," and I was like, I can read the fucking clock.
Dang.
Like, I mean, my vision wasn't horrible, but it was like
But you couldn't read the clock.
I couldn't. And the
That's
clock,
pretty bad.
I mean, the clock was maybe a little farther than that wall, but I want to say like 10 feet away.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't read it.
Damn.
And then I sit up and I was like, "Oh, it's like 3:15." And he's like, "Okay, cool." He's like, "You're good. Go into the recovery room." And then like I was like, "Oh shit, like I can read the fucking clock."
That's wild, man.
It was really wild. But you do have to like, they tell you like, and that can hurt if you're stupid and you go home and you turn on the TV and look at your phone and like, it's not good. They give you these big the old person sunglasses.
Yeah.
They tape these kind of things over your eyes for a while. And then once you go home, they give you these big old sunglasses and they tell you like, go home, close the curtains, stay in the dark. Like you can, you know, if you got to make food and whatever, you can turn the lights on and stuff, but like just sleep as much as you can till tomorrow, like go to bed. And then when you go to bed too, you wear these little coverings that you tape on so you don't accidentally in the middle, because your eyes are they're not happy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and you can see it in the middle of the night. You're like, "Oh man, my eye itches." Like that'd be bad. So you tape this big old thing on your face to remind you that if you do, you know,
hands shouldn't be here.
And you wear those for like a week.
Damn.
At least. And then, yeah.
Wow.
But then my vision, I had a weird recovery process because we found out my eyes were actually allergic to the steroids. They give you these steroid drops to like suppress the inflammation.
Yeah.
But I was actually allergic to that steroid drop.
So it was causing inflammation?
So yeah. So I'm like 2 weeks after finally, and it was getting worse and worse like by the day. And then like 2 weeks, I call my because you start usually going to a regular eye doctor.
Yeah.
Not the guy who does your surgery. I mean, at least I did.
Right.
I call my regular eye doctor and I go, "Yo, doc, my eyes feel like they're gonna explode. Like, they feel like someone, like I think they might pop out of my head." So he's like, "Well, come on in." I come on in and like they do the eye pressure test, and he goes, "You have like glaucoma level eye pressures right now." He's like, "I've never seen readings this high," and I'm
That's
like,
not good.
"Oh, not good at all."
Yeah.
And I also noticed too, my vision was kind of getting worse at that time. Like,
Oh, no.
things were starting to get a little more blurry, and so he goes, "Okay."
This was how many days post?
About 2 weeks.
Okay.
So then he tells me, "I'm going to give you," he's like, "we're stopping all of the stuff." Because there's 2 drops. There's like I think there's like an antibiotic drop and then there's a steroid drop. He goes, "We're going to stop all the drops. You probably don't need them anymore anyways. And I'm going to give you glaucoma eye drops to put in."
Dang.
He's like, "Because we got to bring these pressures down like ASAP." So I did that. He's like, "For 2 days, use these drops and then give me another call and come back in." And I did. In 2 days, my eye pressures were down to normal. But then I think like that seriously delayed my whole recovery process.
Yeah.
Because I probably didn't get my best vision until 6 to 9 months after it.
Wow. And it's usually
it's pretty like, yeah, once you clear up that initial round of inflammation you get just from the surgery,
Couple
which
weeks.
is usually like in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Vision's usually pretty good.
dang,
Mine,
6
like,
to 9 months.
Mine was like a little, I was like, I'm not happy with this surgery. Like,
no.
It's not, I didn't need my glasses anymore.
Right.
So I was still like cool, but I'm like, if this is the best I can do, like I still might need like minor glasses, you know? But then, I want to say, 6 to 9 months afterwards, all of a sudden things just started getting better, a little clearer, colors were sharper. And then probably at about a year, I'd say a year.
Yeah.
Was when I finally decided like, this is the best vision I've had. And I was like, at least 2020, things were crystal clear.
Nice.
It's faded a little since then. That was probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm starting to do a little bit of this.
Oh, okay.
Getting the old eyes, but I'm still good. Like I still read fine. Like I don't need readers yet, but like that's just from being old. There's nothing they can do about that.
For sure. I mean, dude, in about 5 or 10 years, man, I feel like we'll be able to like grow tissue in the eye.
I'm hoping.
Right?
Yeah. Stem cells right in my eyeballs. Shoot them in there, dude.
That's crazy,
what are we doing?
Where'd you go in Mexico? I got stem cells at Ways the Well in Houston.
I would love to do that. I
got an IV. It wasn't
I went to a place in Tijuana. I think it was called Stem Cell Mexico.
Okay.
And that, again, I
is that the one that Eddie Bravo's talked about?
No,
Okay.
it had a different name at one point, but now it's called CPI
Okay.
Performance Institute. You'll see that on every UFC fight has that CPI.
Oh, that's them.
It used to be called CHIPSA.
CHIPSA.
And CHIPSA stood for something, CHIPSA. That was some kind of acronym for something. Cellular Performance Institute, that second one down.
The crisis prevention?
Yeah, I was like, crisis prevention? Okay. But I believe this place used to be called CHIPSA because I actually called them initially. Tate gave me their number.
Okay.
And said, call this. There's this guy named Scotty who used to run. Do you ever go to OTM fight shops?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a guy named Scott. I think his name is Scotty. He used to own all those. Maybe he still owns some of them.
Okay.
But he either quit that or transitioned into working for this CHIPSA company. And then he was kind of like their recruiter, sort of like trying to get athletes and stuff. And this was, again, 10 plus years ago, I think.
Yeah.
No, maybe not. No, that was John Wick 3. So 2016, 8 years. I don't know. Where was that? Oh, see,
Stem cells, dude.
Stem cells. So
yeah.
But,
that's where you got them.
And they had a really good program there,
Right.
but it was like this 4-day intensive where you come, you do hyperbaric oxygen chambers, they give you NAD.
Oh, wow.
This whole thing to kind of prime you, like do 2 days of this intense therapy to prime you for the stem cells. Basically, they're juicing up your body.
Yeah.
Then they give you the stem cells and IV, also injections in if you had a specific joint.
So you got an IV as well?
I didn't go to this place.
Okay.
I'm telling you what their program was.
Gotcha.
Which again sounded amazing, and if I had the money at that time, I would have done it. But it was like $14,000, and I'm like, "Fuck!" I'm like, I just got a torn MCL. Like, how do I get just that work done? And he was pretty cool about it. He was like, "We don't really just do that. Like, we have a program, and because we feel this is the best way to make this work." And I go, completely agree with you, but I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
So, I started digging around in Mexico and did a bunch of research and came to this place called Stem Cell Mexico, and that was about $4,500.
Okay.
But it was like just the knee. He did both my knees actually.
Wow.
And I can't remember how many stem cells it was, like 80 million or something.
Yeah.
That.
Nice.
But that was, and again, I think I got really good results from it. It was horrible to have done, like most pain I've ever been in, I think, because
wow.
I heard a lot of people like, they're like, oh, I had a knee issue and I went in and they just shot the stem cells in my knee and I walked out. And I'm like, okay, where did those stem cells go? Like, did they just put them in the capsule and like where it happened? But because when I went in Mexico, they pulled a bunch of PRP out of me. Spun that all up, mixed it all with the stem cells. And then they come out with these huge ass syringes and the needle's like this long.
Oh, dude.
And they like insert it at the top of my knee and put it all the way through the whole freaking tendon. And then as they pull the needle out, they're backfilling with PRP and stem cells.
Oh, God.
As this doctor explained it to me, which, I don't, may or may not be true or some truth to it. He's like, tendons, they don't have much blood flow.
Right.
That's part of why they don't heal well.
Yeah.
So he's like, if you want stem cells in your tendons, you have to put it in the tendon. You can't put it, he's like, it doesn't work very well to just do an IV or shoot them somewhere around the tendon.
Yeah.
Because not many are going to go into that tendon. So he's like, I have to put the stem cells in your tendons. God. I'm like, that already sounds horrible.
Yeah.
So I watched. Luckily, they had a little computer screen set up with an ultrasound, and you could just watch. Like, he's like, okay, here's this, patellar tendon, and then you just see this needle come in.
Oh my God.
And then as you see him pull it out, it's like squish, squish, squish. It looks like he's like just ejaculating stem cells into my knee.
Nice.
And then, but it was like upper part of the patellar tendon, lower part, AC, like left side of the knee, right side of the knee, and then some in the capsule as well.
Right.
Meniscus.
Yeah.
And then the other knee. So that was like, I mean, hour and a half of like pain level 8 to 9 to the point of shaking, sweating pain.
Oh, no.
Like, and tears.
Oh,
going.
God.
Like the 10 would have been full on screaming for me where I'd have been like, stop.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
take
yeah,
it. This is 9 of me.
Closing your eyes.
Like sweating. Just, yeah. Like I'd open them every once in a while. I'd like I try somehow watching the screen was like a distraction for me.
Yeah. I can see that.
In a little way, but man, it was bad. And like we get done with the first knee and I'm like, Doc, I was like,
can we cut this in
like,
half?
I got a pretty high pain tolerance, I think. Like I do some martial arts, like I'm tough, dude.
Yeah.
How do normal people get through this? And he goes, they scream the entire time.
Okay, got it.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, dude, I'm barely making it. Like I'm like close to tapping. Like I'm like close to tapping the whole time.
That's great.
And then they get done with one, and I'm like, I need a break. Like, just give me like 5 minutes. Can we just have 5 minutes? Of course, they just want to keep going.
Yeah.
And there's 2 doctors in there, and then a third doctor came in a couple times. And I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah. What are you guys trying to do?
But they're honestly, and the hospital was spotless, like best, nicest hospital I've ever been in, because it's not like a hospital you can just show up to. Like if you got an emergency or whatever.
Yeah.
The only people in this building are these private doctors with these private offices.
Okay.
So they call it a hospital, but it's more of like a medical office building, I guess. But man, it was so nice.
Yeah.
The doctor's office was
contrary to what you think of in Tijuana, right?
Yeah. You're thinking you're like going to be in some back alley warehouse, but again, nicest like hospital I've ever been in. Didn't smell like, hospitals have that smell. As soon as you walk in the door, you go, ugh, it smells like
I'm dying today.
bad things in here. This was like a nice like resort building.
That's great.
With just these private offices, really cool. And then like the nurse, picked us up from the hotel, drove us up over to there. They'll pick you up in San Diego too if you want. A lot of people flying to San Diego. They'll drive over the border, pick you up, bring you back, get your treatment, bring you back to the hotel.
How long of a drive is that?
From San Diego, probably like an hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that was actually all included as part of the plan. I didn't do that because we ended up staying a couple days in Tijuana. Well, we stayed one night in Rosarito and then one night in Tijuana, I think. Or maybe it was both nights in Tijuana.
Gotcha.
But honestly had a great, I've recommended the same place with like a dozen people and like only had good things to say about it. So,
yeah. I continuously get shocked at the level of like niceness of all these Mexican clinics.
Yeah.
Like not just like stem cell or Colombia's got one and Panama, but also like these like Ibogaine clinics and stuff like in Mexico. Like I was talking to Ian McCall. You remember Ian McCall, UFC fighter?
Yeah.
We were doing a podcast 2 hours before you got over here. But he just recently went to an Ibogaine clinic in Cancun.
Probably.
Cancun.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. I went to their YouTube channel.
Yeah,
and dude, you're just like, what? Why can't we have that here? Yeah. Well, I know why.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and it's the cost. Like, so Michelle also goes, she has a kind of cosmetic doctor down there that she goes and sees for all her, like, they do like PRP facial stem cell treatments,
Nice.
the collagen type threading stuff. They'll do like radio frequency, red light, like all that stuff, but it's like dirt cheap. I mean, they do all the Botox and shit too, but like, it's so cheap. And again, like, if you went to a shitty doctor, and I do like kind of like there's no one to really hold accountable at this point. Like if you go to a
hey, you better do a good job,
a doctor
guys.
in Beverly Hills and they do something screwed up, like you can
there's repercussions you can put on.
You can do something, but in Mexico you're kind of like. But we found a really great doctor that we trust, Dr. Celine. She's freaking awesome. An awesome team of like these nurses.
Yeah,
and they take great care of you. And then now she just started doing stem cell IVs. And NAD therapy IVs.
Oh, wow.
She went and got her certifications to do IVs.
Yeah.
And then like, cause she's not like a medical doctor per se, like an MD, but she has her doctorate in many things, like, so she got her like whatever license is required to do IV treatments. Yeah. So, and like they just found out have you ever had an NAD IV?
No.
Yeah. They're pretty rough to have.
That's what I've heard. Yeah,
and they're expensive as shit. Like you're gonna pay probably close to $1,000 for like a 500 milligram one. Maybe.
How big of a bag is it?
I guess I don't know how big the bag is really, but it depends on how much pain you want to suffer through to how it might take 2 hours. Like if you don't want to be uncomfortable at all, probably take like 2 hours of sitting there letting it slowly drip in.
Yeah.
Or you can push it a lot faster. But then, because I've had they do intramuscular injections as well.
Yeah.
And then they'll shoot me through like 200 milligrams of that, and then I got about 5 minutes, and then I got to sit down for like 10 minutes because your heart rate kind of jumps up to like about 110, 120 beats a minute. And then you get real warm. You get the prickly tingles, like pre-workout type of stuff.
Yeah.
But then also it feels like somebody's sitting on your chest, and like your skin starts to kind of like it's almost like a burning, like not like a painful burning, but like it's warm. And you just kind of sit there and wait. I'm just sitting there like breathe your way through it. And again, it's not like I've had way worse.
Right.
I mean, getting choked out's way worse.
For sure.
Like you can't.
But there's some type of benefit.
Yeah.
Right? What is it? What?
Just general like anti-aging everything.
Okay.
It's kind of across the board. It's like
you don't get one of those like when you're sick or something, do you?
I wouldn't think it'd be a good idea to do when you're sick. Because
NAD?
NAD. There's usually a little plus by it. It's like
Right.
nicotide ribonucleic.
Right.
I don't know. I can't remember the whole name.
Yeah.
But I've been using that for a few years. I've had pretty good results, and I can tell when I don't do it for a while. Like I just feel better if I do and you kind of do it in like doses.
Okay.
Like you'll go get an IV of it, maybe.
Can you microdose this?
You can.
Okay.
But that's the thing too. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it better? It's still a gray area, and again, like. I don't know, disclaimers, not a doctor. Don't recommend. I'm not recommending
this guy's
anybody.
not a doctor, guys.
I'm not recommending this. I'm telling about my personal experience I had with it.
You can't tell.
Yeah.
We're not doctors.
I always wonder too, is it better to do like, say you just did like 50 milligrams a day, like all the time? Or do you whack 500 milligrams in one dose? Like what works better? I mean, because, they don't really know.
Right.
Different doctors tell you different things. And like,
interesting.
Do you want to give yourself a shot every day, or do you want to just sit there for 2 hours, get your IV, and then not worry about it for a few months?
Right.
It's
a
lot of that too, time things. So I don't know specifically, but I know the weird thing is like probably right after I do that 200 milligram dose, like 3 days later, I don't sleep very well for a night, but then I wake up in the morning and I'm not tired and all the colors are brighter.
And it's that same way every time.
It's pretty consistent. It's a weird thing for like a whole day. Everything's like more colorful.
Interesting.
Just a little, just barely noticeable where you're kind of looking around at first and you're like, man, like everything's a little brighter today. And I always notice it too, because that night before, I know when I wake up, I realize like I didn't sleep at all last night. But then
you're recovered.
I'm not tired. And everything's bright and happy.
And it's not because I got sleep.
You're like, I feel good. The world looks great. And so I don't know.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's that's how I kind of, because most people, it's hard to tell, like, did it help? Did it not?
Right.
And again, I don't know in long term, is that benefit helping me? But I do feel something strange. And I think because I think of the eye surgery that I had and the recovery period I had that was not good.
Right.
I take up a lot of stress in my eyes. Like,
okay.
If I don't sleep well, my vision will be a little bit blurry in the morning. Like if I'm like off my diet or like just sick.
Yeah.
Like when I get like a cold, my eyes get shitty. It's a weird thing for me.
Interesting.
So anything to help my eyes, I'm like, give it to me. Cause I don't want to be blind when I'm older.
Dude, my eyes started fucking up on me like maybe 4 years ago. And I was like, I had this pain right here. I don't even know if it's a muscle. I think it's one muscle. And like if I was looking at my phone for too long, like I'd say 2 or 3 minutes, that thing would just start throbbing. And then I'd have to like
rub it out
and just like
get the Theragun and just
give myself concussions. And then I just had to like break down and get my eyes checked because I was like, there's no way my eyes are getting bad. Sure enough, this one's weaker than that one. I think this one's 20/20, and this one just might be a little weaker. Yeah. And it was just overworking.
Gotcha.
And so I just had to get a pair where this side was stronger than the other one. I don't even think there's even anything with this one. This lens.
Do you wear contacts then?
No, I don't wear anything. It's just when I'm looking at my phone.
Gotcha.
That's when it happens. When I'm looking on my laptop or anything else, I don't have any issue. But when I'm looking at my phone, and then maybe if I'm reading like a book that's got like smaller font, like maybe sub 12 font for sure.
I'm starting to get like the transitional thing where like if I'm sitting there looking at my phone and then I look up to the TV, it takes like a few seconds. My eyes like I look up and it's like blurry for a minute, and then it's like ooh, and I'm like, it used to be you could be like look around, everything's in focus.
Dang.
Now it's just like
That's what I got to
I'm
look
gonna look
forward
at
to.
things far away.
Yeah.
I gotta like look things far away for a second before my eyes like get there, and then when I go back to it's never when I go back to the short distance, but if I go from like reading a book to like looking up out in the street or whatever out the window, it takes a second for my eyes to be like, okay.
Damn.
It's like a warm up. They need to warm up again.
Right. Yeah. I've found myself having to look like do like reps of side to side work. I'm like working out my eyes now.
There you go.
Because like if I do look at my phone for too long, it's like my eyes kind of like the muscles pulling them together to look close.
Yeah.
Overstrain or something. So I have to look this way to get to. I don't know. It's weird, and that's the only thing that helps when they're strained from looking at my phone.
I've heard that people talk about it too. That like working your eyes like a muscle. Like
right.
You lose just like any other muscle as you age.
Yeah.
It's going to decline. So if you're not actively using it, like,
dude, I tell you one thing. My buddy who passed from cancer, not this past December, last month, but a year ago. Him and I and another buddy of ours, Eagle, we went on a hike through the Backbone Trail in Malibu. You ever heard of the Backbone Trail?
Not.
It starts at Will Rogers, and it goes
Okay.
It goes like 60 some miles all the way through Malibu. And it's like all like back in the country. And they finally connected it. But anyways, my point was after we would hike for like the whole day, and we'd put like 10 hours in. And I would look at my phone and it would be perfect. Like there would be no kind of rounding or, and I was just like, oh man, because I was just looking at all these things outside and nothing like this close. And then the longer as I'm looking at my phone, 30 minutes goes by, then I can start telling my muscles are contracting again. But it was wild. Every time after a day hike, I'd look at my phone like, oh, I can see this perfectly.
It's like, and I think I've read about like hunters, like they have great eyesight because they're always they're looking very far away all the time. Like guys like elk hunt, deer hunt, whatever. You're looking hundreds of yards away to spot these animals.
Isn't that interesting?
And like that's your world.
Well,
and but
that's natural.
Yeah. But then and as you get older, like they don't have the same eye issues as us little phone lookers do.
Us phone lookers. Dude, that's why like, so this is remember I told you who my brother was a writer?
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
He wrote a novel about this guy who was a ex like high school wrestler or something like that. Got in some bad times with like a guy he used to do tent revivals with, like in the South, like a preacher.
Yeah.
Who's gone to prison now. He's come back. Anyways, I tried to make tried to publish or just like print a copy of it. And I did it wrong, but it came out like this. And I'm like, oh, this is actually great to read.
Yeah, that's pretty
like
nice.
this is great font. And it's just like a regular piece of paper. But I could have sworn I had it like 8 by 10, like a regular novel.
Just print it out like a size of a script.
Yeah, exactly.
With double spaced lines.
Yeah, exactly.
That's hilarious.
I know, man. But I was like, I might have to do this with other books. Because like I've got some philosophy books that are just like, you're just like, come on, man.
I've
cut that shit out.
So I read a couple now book series. Like I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to like fantasy books, I guess.
Okay.
Call them in a weird, well, I don't know what genre it'd be, but there's a book series called Sandman Slim. And it's about this guy who ends up being like half angel, half demon, or half angel, half human. Sandman Slim.
Oh, Sandman.
Not the Sandman.
Okay.
Sandman Slim.
Got it.
It's only been done as a book series so far.
Okay.
Sandman Slim, that one.
Cool.
But what was I? Oh, my main point was like, there's like 10 of these books.
Yeah.
And I actually read all fucking 10 of them.
Oh, nice.
Which like, I'm not a big reader, but if I get into something, like I can plow through them.
Yeah.
But I noticed like the more I read out of the books, like the better my eyes get at it.
Okay.
So like the first book, like the first 100 pages are always like, man, I'm getting so tired and I just like want to close my eyes.
Yeah.
And,
I got to do this before
the
bed.
the whole time.
Yeah.
But then by like book 2, like I'm like 100 pages, no problem. Just like rifle through it. So I don't know if it's like specifically an eye thing or just your brain learns to process that information quicker and better.
Yeah.
So it's not so exhausting, but
That makes sense.
I mean, like, I feel like reading is a skill. Like you
Oh,
gotta keep up on, like, and
Absolutely.
not on your phone. Like that's a different,
Yeah.
like you can read like, whatever web pages or whatever, but like when you going from that to a book is like a different thing.
Case in point, dude. I finally got on X last year. I just never used it. I was on Instagram, searching other stuff, YouTube, whatever. And it's, when you're on there, especially on your phone, short tweets, and you can just scroll and so another tweet. I wasn't really reading. Like I was skimming through things. And so when I started a book a couple months ago, and I'm like, oh, I got to slow down. Like I was like, damn, I actually have not really been reading something, that's got like a story, and I've got to pay attention to every sentence. Yeah. I've just been skimming shit because of X. Like, fuck.
Yeah. I do that occasionally too while I'm reading. Like I'll start the skim mode.
Right.
And then you realize like, man, I think I'm missing something.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back 3 pages. And I'm like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely skim through these pages like real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, reading is a skill for sure.
It is, man. My brother was always a writer, even when he was a kid. And so we always had books. My dad was always like, my mom, they were always telling us to read and stuff. But we also enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then seeing my brother like write his own comic books at like, 8, I'm just like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. So reading was always a cool thing. Yeah. But a buddy of mine who just who did some psychedelic therapy with me a couple years ago, it's kind of like made him read more. It's made him kind of like get back to that childlike desire to like,
it might be part of it.
Read a story or something creative.
Yeah. I mean, I used to read, and again, I'm a nerd, dude, I guess, like a nerd at heart, but I would read like, I think it was Dragonlance was like a name of a book series I read when I was a kid, I think. Dragonlance. And again, it was like Game of Thrones type stuff, but even more goofy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
that's one of them,
Dragonlance.
Right? The Dragonlance Chronicles?
I mean, I couldn't tell you honestly the book names anymore. It was a big branching universe of shit. It was like Dungeons and Dragons in book form, basically. Yeah, that
looks like it.
That's for sure it.
That is it.
I used to read those. Oh, there it is. That's the Dragonlance logo, man. That's. I can't believe my brain even remembered that. But like
that's
I said,
memories.
Because I don't like much nonfiction. I've actually read some really good nonfiction stuff.
Yeah,
but
it's tough.
For like, they're like few and far between.
Yeah.
But like I can pick up a book series like this that's probably not even that well written. I don't know. But like actually the Sandman Slim books are phenomenal. Like they're really good. And then there's I think we just bought the rights to this other book series called Spellslinger. And again, it's like
Spellslinger.
It's like Game of Thrones crossed with Harry Potter, crossed with
got it. Spellslinger, I mean,
it's pretty
Academy of Magic.
I've described it to some people, and they might as well think I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Right? Yeah, I'm that guy now. Sorry.
Like, man, I don't know. Or like you throw in a little bit of religion, a little bit of magic, maybe some demons, monsters, and like I'm in, man. I can watch. But I'm also like I'm a old school Trekkie too.
Okay.
Like William Shatner.
Oh,
original TV series. I just realized they have them all on Paramount Plus.
No way.
You can go and watch every fucking episode, which I've realized I've seen every episode.
Really?
Because as I'm watching it through again, I go, oh yeah, this is the one with the tribbles. And I'm like, yes. And then I'm like, I watched it because now like a couple days a week, I just get on the treadmill and I ruck. I got a like big old weight pack and throw that on, just walk and watch. We have a screen on the treadmill. And I'm like, man, I've been blowing through the Star Trek
That's
episodes,
awesome.
and they're so bad. Like
they are bad?
They're pretty.
Oh, dang.
I mean, yeah, they're overact. It's almost like theater acting,
right,
on a sci-fi show, and then you watch like the old school way they kind of treated women. Like the women on the Starship are wearing like these short ass mini skirts, and they always have perfect makeup and this big blonde.
Yeah,
and that was the style too. Like the what do they call it, the bouffant hair.
Maybe
it was big and it just like you're like okay, like this is literally the fucking I don't know when they made those, like the 60s or
maybe 50s. Yeah,
but like. That you could tell the views happening, although they did push a lot of boundaries on that show. Like you got Captain Kirk. He was like the first.
Yeah,
I think he was the first white and black kiss on screen ever. He kissed Uhura.
Oh wow,
the
66.
66.
Why did I think it was earlier than
I
that?
believe when William Shatner kissed Uhura on the show, that was the first ever like on screen.
Multiracial kiss.
He was always hooking up with aliens, like green chicks, no
That's
problem.
fine.
Blue chicks, cool. Silver, but like
them black ones.
Hey,
now
the world is not ready for that. The world is not ready for that.
Oh, that's great.
But like, look at this shit. Like, this is a theater production.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
But I love them. Like,
that's great.
I love them, and maybe it's nostalgia too because my mom loved them, and we had them all on VHS tape.
Oh wow!
And they're only about a half hour, maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So you could put like 4 of them on one VHS, you know, back in the old school, big old VHS.
Yeah.
So like everyone had like, and they were marked on there like episodes 1 through 4, episodes 4 through 8.
Right.
And I watched them all, man.
Dang.
And now I'm watching them again. And then of course I realized too, like.
It's about 4 seasons, right? Yeah. 3 or 4.
Yeah. It's just like, look at this. Look at this. It's great.
Did I tell you, hey, talk about old shows. My dad always talked about The Rifleman.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. It was a classic.
And I watched some of it as a kid, but it was black and white. And I was like, I don't know. I went back and started watching them, dude. Fantastic. Just great storytelling.
The old westerns.
Just 25 minutes of just boom, boom, boom.
And that's why I think that a lot of people didn't realize it, and some people did, but like The Mandalorian is basically like just a modern Western.
Yeah.
And like people loved it so much, and you're like, they're just doing exactly what they did with The Rifleman. Like they're telling, he always like little side quests. It's like they're all just side quests every time.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so fun to watch, is because like something's actually cool happening every show.
Right.
It's not like you're waiting for this whole series to come to a culmination. Like every show is like its own thing.
Yeah.
You know?
And in The Rifleman, like there's episodes where you're like, oh, I've seen a version of this that's been watered down. And this, it's more of it's like pure form, because it's a 25-minute episode. You know, like some of these episodes, you know, like even with Bonanza or Gunsmoke, could have turned into, you know, a movie. But like because of the time restraint, and I think, dude, each season, probably Star Trek's the same way. It's like 40 episodes.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
It's like, geez, dude, like talk about just churning
them out
great stories. Yeah. So, well, dude, I know you got to head out of here, but this was fun, dude.
Yeah, this was great.
Good.
Do this again sometime.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we got to go shoot, dude.
Got to go shoot. Do that.
That's about it. Shooting, podcasting.
Take the girls. Michelle will teach you guys how to shoot.
I think she's been teaching her everything she knows.
Probably. You're gonna come out of there. You're about to get freaking narc.
We gotta go now, Cody.
She'll be running drills when you come home. You'll find like it'll be like one of those things where you find a little Nerf gun on thing when it comes in. It's like, come find me, and you're just like, shit.
Oh no, this is not good for me, dude. This has been fun.
Yeah, it's been great.
Awesome.
Thanks, buddy.